Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Yes, Dodwena Yal, a bit late. I'm sorry. I was just getting my bed warmings together, just quickly doing one or two things. Oh shit, my things ain't still up. Let me just slap up that. Just do the usual. How are you guys? How is everything? What is up? Yeah. What's going on? Yeah, hopefully you can see from the title. Today's thing, we're gonna go for a conversation where I wanted to have kind of manifested from yesterday, really. This conversation kind of manifested from yesterday, and I saw a brilliant video. So I was thinking, big up everyone that came through yesterday. I want to big up all the panelists, everyone in the chat. Again, Matt Senid, always love. Big up to all you guys still. So we're back. But I wanted to really talk about basically, I don't know, I feel like to put on my camera as well today, man. Why not? I'm gonna put on the camera as well so everyone can see me. Yeah, man. Basically, I really wanted to get into I wanted to talk about, and it started from yesterday. Really, truthfully, I think this conversation manifested from yesterday. I feel like should there be a Somali revolution? Should there be a deprogramming? And yeah, that's the gist of the story. You get where I'm coming from, my brothers and sisters. That's about it. So I wanted to really get into that. I saw an interesting video that I've watched, and yeah, these lot are really wicked. I want your thoughts on these guys as well. So let's have a look at these guys. Let me know what you guys' thoughts are, and then from there we can actually take it away. And again, let me just everything. Assalamu alaikum. Tadwin ayal, tadwin li warama. يورا ما في عنا هذا ما ذكر فضلا لايك subscribe لكل بفطار. I already know, show the love, share what it is. Yeah, man. So that's my thoughts. My thoughts are, should there be a revolution? I'm talking about rip everything down, start from scratch. Should we deprogram ourselves? Should we program ourselves in different ways? And this is the type of conversation that I think these like explain it more better. You get where I'm coming from. Big up my brother family in the building. Y'all don't know. Assalamu alaikum wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My guy, you don't know. So yeah, this is what we want to do. This is how we're gonna be running it today. So let me know your thoughts. Let's watch this video as a little warm up. Let me know what you guys think of this.
Welcome back to Modern Nomads. So today's topic is going to be, are Somalis living in the West losing their dagan? So, okay, just to start off with, can we just have whether you guys agree or disagree? So can we start with Mohammed?
I think it has, dagan is not the same as it was before in Somali or here.
I think
I agree with some parts, yeah. Yes and a no.
Yes and no.
Depends on your household. Yes, technically, for sure.
Alright, expand. Why do you believe that?
To be honest, yeah, especially the Somali people living this, Somali live in Europe, yeah, they have no technical. Like, I'll give you just one example, yeah. Like, especially the ones who come here, like, they're so proud that they know they can speak English, but when you ask them, like, how come you can't speak your language instead of speaking different language? We call it like, who's this fat guy? Like, what are you from? Like, they're gonna look at you like you're some stupid kid or some wasteman. Like, in reality, they're the one who's wasteman. No, that or nothing whatsoever. That's what I think.
You have to ask yourself a question yourself. Define what dagan is. Dagan comes in like in many ways. How you carry yourself, the way you act. Dagan is not all about speaking Somali and knowing you're Somali. I could know Somali all day, every day, but could act like Adan, like just follow the Adan kids or the Jamaican dagan or just any other English culture. So basically, the dagan, you have to define what dagan is first of all, if you want to know what dagan is. And I feel like most of the kids here did actually lost the dagan. Like they act different at home, a different person at home, like, and then the way they are outside is different. For example,
do you
right?
feel like they're just moving towards this country that we're living in now, and
Yeah.
they're just trying to assimilate, basically.
They're confused with two different, culture. The one at home and the one outside. So right now, when I'm outside, I'm out two different different people. Could I was the Pakistani brothers, Arab brothers, or the Jamaicans, or any other people that I'm around. It does not matter who they are at the end of the day. It couldn't necessarily be, can't be Somali all the time. You get me? So yeah, they are confused. with
How
different
important
Dakhans.
is
When they
culture?
go home, they don't even get taught like the proper Dakhan because their parents are busy anyway.
I would say yes and no. Me personally, I think when I say I think I know my Dakhan, but then someone from Somalia or someone that grew up in Somalia would look at me and be like, "No, you don't know your Dakhan." So I don't fit in with them. But then at the same time, am I British? I don't fit in with the British as well. So it's confusing because what they will tell you, yeah, you're Somali. Like I would say, yeah, my Somali is good, my Somali is banging. They will look at me now, your Somali is shit. You don't even know Somali. So it's like, what do you expect? Like I grew up here,
Yes, Jay.
I lived here all my life.
Hmm?
I didn't grow up in Somalia, so I feel like we do
No,
know
I
our
beg you, do
Dakhan
me a
to an
favor, though.
extent. Because
Jump on as soon as
it's
this shows.
impossible
Just
to
kick it
know
off
your
with me,
Dakhan the
innit?
same way you would if
It's
you
like
lived
yesterday.
in Somalia. So I would say yes.
No, but it's gonna be 27 minutes long. Just jump on, innit? Just
Personally,
quickly.
personally,
You
I
look
don't
below.
think
That's about it.
we don't get enough credit for living in
Yeah, that's all you have to do. Just keep it doing. You look below.
a certain way.
Boom. Because them lot all trying to steal,
Let's
bro.
say
Imagine the
get a
videos
job
we
or
played
whatever,
yesterday. My man trying to
and
play on
then
his channel. I
go
was like,
home
raw.
and whatever in your community or
There's
whatever,
no mad
and then
guy.
you have to act in a different way.
There's
And
no
that's
mad
not
guy.
easy. And
The same Palestinians. See all the videos they were playing yesterday. I was like, raw. This guy going no.
You have to act like
So I beg you, just jump on in here, innit?
it's a farah, I guess.
After the video.
And
And we
then
just talk about that
you
and
go
kick off with me
home
and then
and you're
boom, that's
expected
about
to
it. Just
act
jump
differently,
off.
and that's hard. That's not easy. That's not an easy thing. Are we
Okay.
losing
As
our
soon as the
Dakhan?
video's done, boom.
I don't know. Maybe yes, maybe no. Because okay, so like we live in the UK, right? If you go back like to history, there was the Victorian era. There's different cultures like throughout, generations and whatever. So are we actually just moving forward and like, because we're a new generation, there's new challenges and new things that we need to be exploring, or are we actually losing our Dakhan? Because obviously I came back from Somalia this year summer last year. Yeah.
Last year, yeah.
And like if you look at the way they do Somali here, it's like really really old. That they're like they have kind of changed there. They act different, they dance different. But because we live here, I don't know. I feel like our parents and everyone just feels like we have to hold on to our Dakhan because for some reasons we feel like we're losing it. I don't know. Maybe we are, and we're kind of like, I don't know how to explain it. We're kind of holding on to something that might be a little bit old, in a way. I don't know if I think our mom's generation has a Dakhan that's not even back home. Like it's different. Like if you go back home, they actually like they act like they're from Europe or whatever.
So do you feel like our Dakhan is outdated?
In a way, if you go back home, in a way, the Dakhan we follow here and our moms actually want us to follow is a bit outdated, because if you go back home, you're not going to see the same things. Like, or your mom wants you to learn Somali in a certain way, let's say that, and then you go back there and you go to a Somali wedding and that shit ain't happening. There's no Somali like that. So personally, I just feel like I think our moms are hoping the older generation are holding on to a Dakhan that we're kind of outgrowing, and I don't think we're losing our Dakhan. We're just progressing forward, if that makes sense.
I sort of agree with some points as well. Like, I don't think we're losing it. We're just adapting to the society that we're in today. Because, for example, for me, I'm born here. This is all I know from England because I was born in England. But then when I went in 2014, my first time over to Somaliland and learned everything there, I took some bits back, but some bits I already knew, some bits I didn't. But it wasn't like, oh, we're losing it. It was just like, oh, I'm just adapting to the society that I'm living at and just making it my own, like my own identity and my own culture. Because I agree with, historically wise, in England, things have changed. Like, we're not doing the same thing we did in the 18th century, 17th century. Same as Somalia, we're not doing the same thing. We're just adapting to our own surroundings.
So you think it's a case of learning it and just keeping hold?
Yeah, some people hold some parts and some people let go of some parts. Like, say, for example, some people hold on to the point of staying in your qabila, marrying into your qabila. Some people stay in the point of marrying outside the qabila. It's like different things you just adapt to, and everyone has a different path they go on.
Yeah, the way that I see it is that Dakan is not something that's very rigid to say. It's something that's really fluid. So over time, even in Somalia, like you said, it is progressing. People in Somalia now are not the same as they were 100 years ago. If you go to Hargeisa now, they are westernized. The way that they're living, the clothes that they're dressing with, even when I don't know who said it, the way that they're dancing, the way that they're acting is all westernized. But it's accelerated here is because with technology and all sorts. We are seeing things, we're learning new things, and we are just a different type of people. And that is not, it's not a bad thing. It is not a bad thing. So long it is to make ourselves better, then that's fine. Because as people, I believe that we're just a product of like our environment. So the people that we are around, they will eventually define who we are in terms of Dakan. And so, for example, I don't really mind if anyone has an issue with me saying this, but for example, Qabil Nimo is a massive part of Dakan. My Qabil Nimo is absolute zero. I have zero understanding of it. And a lot of people do. Even my language is not the greatest. But in terms of food, I love Somali food. In terms of the way that we live when we're at home, it's the same. Even religion has a massive impact on Dakan. And I say that Islamically, I might not be living the perfect lifestyle, but yeah, but it's still there. So it's just watered down now. It's just changed. Everything is watered down. That's all it is.
I think it's more about just knowing your history. So obviously know where you came from, who you are, but like we also need to progress forward. And if there's certain things in our Dakan that would hold us back, is something that we need to leave behind, such as Qabil. I feel like that's holding Somalis back, and that's something we need to leave behind, although it's a part of our Dakan.
I don't think we should leave Qabil behind. I think we should leave behind the fact that we use it to say, oh, I'm better. This Qabil is better than that Qabil. I think Qabil it's your identity. It's a part of you. It's a part of who you are.
Yo, G.
I don't like
Yeah.
back in the days.
You at
in
home?
Somalia, Qabil was used to
Yeah, I beg you.
to
I'm on.
identify yourself.
Watch it a
I
little
think
bit. We're
when
going to be
the
talking about
war
culture. I beg you.
happened
As soon
in
as this
Somalia,
video's
that's
on,
when
jump in
people
with my neck.
started to pinpoint and separating themselves from each other.
Yeah,
And
yeah. It's
I
going to
think-
take a little time.
I think Somalia
Where
was everybody was
Like in the listen, you know.
Yeah, about
the whole
12-ish.
point of Qabil is back in
got
the
good
day,
2 hours. We bang out 2 hours.
Somalia
Because the
is
video's on about
address.
10 minutes,
They have
27.
screen.
Have your
Like, someone
sandwich.
that
Just
gets
jump on in
one
about
place
10
in
to
Mexico,
15 minutes.
it's good, good, like if someone came
Ah,
from
no, my
outside
bro.
the city
Yeah,
looking
nah.
for a certain family, they will got directed by just saying their name, and everyone would know their Qabil. That's how Qabil was. But going back on the point, like saying on I think Mahmoud's point, Somalia, the reason why they're changing the Dagan is because Hargeisa, like back home, we've got people that call like their nickname is Dagan and Dolphin. They're trying to be westernized.
Yeah.
And that's why the people in Somalia, most of them are confused. Like, okay, apart from after when you go past like Hargeisa is gone. That city is gone.
I
Literally.
personally don't
It's
think
too
it's gone.
westernized.
I
That
think it's
city.
just adapting.
Nah, it's not adapting. That city is gone. It's too westernized. The only city that hasn't changed from like
Can I just
onward
ask
to
what's so bad with being
all the way to
westernized?
Mega. That's the only people that hasn't changed. And see, when people from here go to Hargeisa,
Mm.
and Hargeisa people see here people from here, they're thinking, oh, well, look at here. Then the day something. And people back home were bedow. I'm not getting enough to there. That's why the reason why I call the kind of it. You see people surround Hakan Mario. Shit that we used to do in what 2000 in here, 2000 keep back in days. Now they're doing down there, trying to be here, and that's why kids from here when they go back home, they get confused with two different things. They think, okay, you're gonna go back home learning stuff. Personally, I think if any kid from here goes to Hargeisa, they're not learning anything. They're not gonna learn anything. You go into westernized country again. You're gonna get confused.
Can I just ask?
They got the English. They got English. They got food
Yeah.
from here in Hargeisa. What's the kid gonna learn? So that's why the kid's still gonna get
Honestly,
confused.
like
if you want to learn your Dakan, you have to go to the Mega, where you see the
honestly,
raw
like
things.
we're talking. Okay, going back to the food. Everywhere you go, there's McDonald's. It's just food people like. It's not
Conflicts.
You shouldn't. You should go to a country and have a wide variety of food that you want to eat. Like it shouldn't be like, oh, if you've got McDonald's there, it's too westernized.
Nah, where
And
do you see in Somalia?
Personally, I don't think there's anything wrong with being westernized. as long as you
I-
keep your religion and you know where you came from.
But we're not keeping our religion nowadays. Every day there's parties
But that's
going
a
on.
different
right now,
issue. That's a
24/7, they're
different
just
issue.
turning up.
Nah, let's do that.
That's the
a
whole point of
different
Dakan.
issue.
I
No, that's the whole
think-
point of Dakan there.
but can I just butt in? I think it's understandable for people like us that grew up here that we are a bit more westernized. However, I don't understand why somebody over there would want to be westernized.
That's what
Is
they
it
watch
not-
on the TVs and
I
that's
don't think. I
technology.
think you're
Yeah,
thinking
yeah.
westernized as in like when you're saying clothes wise or whatever. Wise.
But that's-
I'm thinking
that's-
westernized as in technology.
Fashion is worldwide.
I'm
Fashion
thinking of it
changes.
as-
Fashion changes
food
everywhere.
is
Fashion,
worldwide.
food is worldwide.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Food
So
is,
when we
yeah.
say westernized,
I
we
think
have
like
to define what we
technology,
mean by westernized.
Like teaching practices, technology. I'm thinking. Like
I'm talking about
hospital, like-
culture. I'm talking about like
Culture,
things.
yeah,
Like I'm not talking about
culture-wise.
clothes and food.
It's part
I'm
of culture,
talking,
though.
yeah, but I'm talking about like things that like like Somali that we do kabil, we have hurdle, we have like I wouldn't want those things to be gone. Like I love the fact that we have hurdle. I love the fact that we are they Somali and I love that. I love that about my culture. I wouldn't want that to fade
We're not
away. Do you
saying
know what I
necessarily
mean?
That it's fading away. We're just saying some people keep some parts and some people keep other parts. Like,
So do you think you could keep both?
like yeah, like
Definitely.
I think certain things about our culture, like I think men and women are not very equal in our culture. So things like that, I would not want
to keep. Yeah.
to keep. But then things like
So you want to keep the positive aspect.
like all
of
the
your
Yeah.
positive
And
stuff
Like
keep
about
the
my
community
yeah.
close that brings the community together.
Yeah,
Those things like
yeah.
I feel those some-
You know, like the
kind,
Somali
If
name.
you,
Yeah.
live in, if you live in a westernized country, you can balance that.
yeah.
But I'm talking right now when we're talking about Dakan. Okay, yes, people in westernized are getting affected. Also, people like our young generation
Yeah.
here, they're getting affected losing the Dakan because there's not many activities for them to do here. They're confused with two different Dakan. But when they go back home and they go to the actual capital, where everything like okay, if I don't know if I take kid from here, I take him to Mig or Bra or any other cities,
Yeah.
that kid's gonna get bored.
Not really, because I went to
No, no,
Bora
no,
for
no.
2
My little
months and I
sister
learned
went
so
to-
much.
I know a lot.
Yeah, I know a lot,
a lot.
yeah, I
I'm
understand what you say.
talking from
Majority.
experience, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah. That kid's gonna get bored. He wants to go to Hargeisa. If that kid goes to Hargeisa, guarantee you he's gonna speak English most of the time.
Yeah, but
He's
that
never
kid-
gonna learn Somali or
listen,
nothing.
listen.
The when I went to Hargeisa, because from my experience, I went to Bora for 2 months and I learned a lot because Hoy took us to the May to learn things like this is how they live. You should be thankful. She was thinking it more as you should be thankful for Ilahi allowing you to be born in England, that sort of thing. That's what she was teaching us, and we learned stuff from that. And then we went to Hargeisa, which I didn't really like that much. Because for me, I liked Bura more because I saw my family and everything, and no offense, water and everything was there, and it's all natural and great. But when I went to Hargeisa, it was all it's it's not even but it's man-made. It's not like
It's a
natural. It's
capital
not like
city.
thing.
I
It's
don't like
like
going to
it's
London
too-
because it's too hectic and I just don't like it. It's a capital city.
Yeah.
It comes with a lot of stuff that you won't like.
Yeah.
At the same time, it comes with a lot of things that you will like. But
wasn't much.
going back to your point of saying that kids get bored, my little sisters were taken to Deprogramming, which is a village.
She's a baby.
They
We're talking right now.
loved it.
We're talking about
They-
teenagers.
They loved it.
But no, but the issue is, especially with kids now, is that, and even from my perspective, I went to Somalia for the first time last summer, and I personally, when I'm here, I can identify myself as a Somali, but that's because of my skin color, because of my
Yeah.
parents.
Yeah.
I can, but in terms of my roots, in terms of my background, I could never identify myself
Yeah.
as Somali. So when I went to Somalia, I felt like an outsider when I was
Yeah,
there.
I felt like that.
Like
Yeah.
100%. Like it just in terms of Dakan, everything, I felt like an outsider because even when I was trying to talk to someone, we would not have anything in common. So I'd have like my cousin that I was there with, and I try and have a conversation with him about anything. I was trying to break a barrier where we could kind of like get along. But because the way that I was thinking and the way that he was thinking was so far different, that
And
we
they
just
will
couldn't talk.
identify
Like,
you
it was
as
a
you're not
PG
pure Somali.
Yeah, like
you're
from
washed.
Bura
Yeah.
when-
Yeah.
Not even that, like people of
Yeah.
England. That's what they identified us like.
But then I understand
You know,
so we
honestly,
didn't even get
even the ones
identified
that
as
wanted
Somali.
to talk to me, because I actually wanted to talk to the locals and talk to them because I see, a lot of Western.
Aye, but
Like I live in
in-
the UK, so I see enough of you guys. I don't want
Yeah.
to go back home and see you again.
Yeah.
But when I went there, all they wanted to talk about was, oh, what's Sheffield like? Oh, if I lived there, how would I? Do you know what I mean? I'm just like, Sheffield
But
is
then,
not that amazing.
is that because they have this idea
Yeah.
that we have this great life and they don't?
They think money grows on
Like,
trees.
what's it called again? Yeah.
Obviously, we're second generation.
Yeah.
You know, the forthcoming generations, you still think, oh, I don't know.
Yeah,
Let me tell you, fam. That's not going to say the next 5 years. Forget about the next
I
generation
disagree.
coming up. Let me.
it
yeah.
depends on
I
household.
disagree.
We ourselves, our generation, ourselves, man, boys and girls, I already argued with our fingers that our mom and dad used to do. Some of the girls saying, I came, I did universities and I don't want to do never mind the next generation.
But what are you arguing about?
That
What is the
was
argument? But what's the argument? The argument was, and most likely going to say that the women that are arguing about equality.
It's
In
not
Dakan in general, our food will not go anywhere. Our language will not
You know,
go
one thing
anywhere.
I don't understand. Yeah, okay.
One second. Our way of living is not going to go anywhere. The only issue now is with our generation, when we're moving forward, is the fact that the way that we live, all of us, there's a lot of people, for example, that go to shisha. You're not supposed to. Our Dakan is dead against that. When you've got girls that are like out and about, seriously dancing and twerking, and you've got guys drinking and smoking, there's no shame at all.
Exactly.
When we're carrying on that type of lifestyle where it's okay to live like a English person, like it's okay to live like a Christian or a non-believer,
Yeah.
that's what Adakan is gonna die. That's where we are stopping it.
But then,
Our parents
You know what-
never
what-
did
but
that.
but then
We-
can I
that
just
is-
make-
it's
Can I
us in
just
our
say-
household.
That's
We're
exactly
okay
my
with
point.
it. Because we are that's what we are okay with. But before, our parents were not okay with it. They used to live and they still do as a Somali. We don't. That's why people are talking about is Dakan disappearing. And in a sense, in terms of living, then the answer is categorically yes. The way that we're living as
Should we
Somali
just-
is not the same.
Okay,
Personally, I
listen.
disagree with his point. Reason being is,
We're talking about equality.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay, let's take the Pakistanis as an example. What are they, like fourth, fifth generation? And they're still holding on to their Dakhan. I feel like we would have our Dakhan, not to the same extent that our parents do. And like he said, it's more about your language, your food, and all of that, rather than, you know, I don't know. I can't guarantee girls won't be going out clubbing or twerking or whatever.
Can I just make
Listen.
a point? You know about the twerking and clubbing and that. I don't think it's got anything to do with our
Dakhan, yeah.
Dakan.
I think it's
It's
where
where
we're,
lack
um,
our
It doesn't
deen.
make
Our
sense.
moms
It
used to
has
go
No,
to.
to this.
I think if we
Yeah.
hold on
Whoa, whoa,
more
whoa,
to our
whoa, whoa,
deen,
whoa, whoa, whoa.
I feel like if we hold on more to our deen, then those things wouldn't have been
Yeah.
as big of an issue
But
as
remember,
it is.
Deen is part of our Dakan.
Yeah,
It's
deen
a
is
massive
part of our
Dakan.
Dakan,
And
but
Deen
we
comes
take
first
the Dakan.
So yeah, like looking at our parent generation, like even the Dumar back then, we're to a certain extent. But like I said to you, like you said, you're right. Dakan and Deen does link with each other, and as long as we're not holding them two together, we can lose that, or you can lose our ways, and that's 100% coming through. And the reason why is this here. Well, I most of us want. It's like if you see a brother right now tells you, let's go to Mr. and that, you think, why this guy listening? Why is he bothering me? If someone tries to tell you to do certain like good thing, of course, nice. I like as you looking at him like someone that's just looking down on you. And again, that's gonna have effect on the finger. So yeah.
Okay, we can move to-
All right. I'm just gonna make 3 points real quick because you guys didn't let me talk here. One, first he said, and Yasmin said, what's it called? We act different when we like with our other friends, like Pakistani, Arab, whatever. Why do you have to act different? when
Because
you're
you're a
around other
human
people?
being and you have
No,
to
you
adapt to
don't-
your environment.
No,
That's
you
just
don't
let
have
him
to
make
be. You just be you.
he asked me a question.
you-
I'm trying to answer it.
You don't need to. That's why I don't understand. Allow that. He said when he went to Somaliland, he felt like he wasn't, in fault. He wasn't feel like how he's supposed to be, what he was expecting to feel.
Mm.
The reason for that is because the people in Hargeisa, the Daliyat Hargeisa and our right now, we have a two different style.
That's true.
And his cousins, I probably think, do you guys talk to each other on the phone before? You just went there, there you go. But that was not contact before. So when you go there, you're not just gonna expect, oh, kind of, how come I begin here in the muddy measure?
But
You're not gonna
it
expect.
happens anywhere in the
No,
world, though.
let me
It
finish.
happens
Anywhere else in the world,
Let
that
me
happens.
finish. And what was the third one? I have no idea. What
Can
is
I-
that? What
Can I add to that point, the second
Alright,
what you
go on.
made? Basically, from what you said, hey, your cousin, but how is he? That's only just one person. When I went to Bur'al, I wasn't even counted as a Somali in a way. I was like, you're the people of England. That's it. The way you walk, the way you like. If I one day I dressed just like them, I still clocked quickly. I was like, nope, you're not our people. So it's like, how are you saying I'm not your people
No,
when
it's-
I'm trying to be? It's like you're
Honestly,
disregarding me.
Right, though,
It's
Honestly,
true. It's like
honestly.
I can't make the whole population of Somalia be part of, like, say, you're part of us when they're not opening the doors for me in the first place. So how am I supposed to?
Let me answer for you. when you go Hargeisa or Burco,
Does the
wherever you
diaspora?
you need to be ready for it. The people's gonna take the piss out of you.
Then why should
That-
they though? If they
because let me tell you why.
like the whole
Let me-
community
I'll tell you
hate
why.
you, why
Western
should
Somalis.
Like a
United
fresh kid.
together.
Let me
It's
tell you
like a fresh
something.
kid
Let
coming
me
to
tell you-
England in school.
yeah.
Yeah, but I never attacked
Like,
fresh
he's gonna
kid.
get-
I made them feel welcome.
There's no,
so
not
that's-
only
Face
necessarily with the whole
identity
school.
So when you
crisis.
go to Hargeisa or
Yeah,
Burco, wherever,
he
yeah,
is.
Yeah,
it's-
yeah.
the
But
meaning of
But
difference- anyone
that's
different
kids.
is
We're talking about
Well, we're
kids.
talking about
We're
adults.
talking about how everyone feels though.
I'm
It's
talking
not
about the
just
adults.
kids.
I'm not talking about kids. Kids are a different story. When I was Hargeisa and my cousin came,
From
I was
England.
taking the piss. I went, "Ay, wax kastan ku oran jiray." It's because that's how we are with Somali. Dhaqan celis, waxaan dhaqan celiska haluu qiimeeyaa, kanay.
It's not even cousins though. Honestly, I would be walking down the road.
Yeah,
and
that's
I'd
not
have
just
girls
cousin,
like,
everyone.
"Dhaqan
Yeah, that's.
celis maxay joogtaa in
Okay,
Ingiriiska
let me
joogtay
say
small,
this, let me
this
say
and
this.
that. Proper have a
What are you making by that point? What are you guys trying to say? Are you saying that going back home, people back home are like
I-
accepting you?
It takes time for you to
I
adapt.
feel like
They're gonna accept you, yeah, but you need time, okay? And you need to understand they don't actually mean it. It's a joke for them.
That's their banter.
Yeah, that basically like it's just like it's a joke for them. It's not actually serious stuff. So
sure there was don't quote me on this, but there was a thing where they actually had a discussion about not having kids who are westernized coming back to the country because they
100%
felt like
agree
they
with
were,
them.
they were fucking up the country.
100%
That's
agree.
Regardless of how you feel about me, I'm still from that country. You
Fam,
can't
listen.
you can't just turn around and say we don't want you
Alright.
there.
Do you think there's a problem with the people back home accepting us as
Yeah,
do
definitely.
you think that even though we see ourselves as Somalis and we identify as Somalis, they might not
I think
necessarily
I
identify
think there's a
as-
50-50.
Going back to his point, we identify as Somalis and whatever because we're in this country and we're black or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like he said. So we have to identify as Somalis. But when you go back there and you actually think, because when I went there and I thought, okay, I'm Somali, my Somali is perfect because my Somali is actually quite good. They destroyed me. They were like, you're not Somali.
Okay, let me
perfect.
say-
So right now,
The reason why
okay,
I'm going to go back on that point, yeah? The reason why I'm going to go back on your point is the reason why Westernized kids are ruining the country is most of them have to admit they what? They messed up and they take him to back home. Right now, Hashid Bagu Tala back home. They're selling weed back home. Where did that come from? Ethiopia. Where did that come from? People from here, the kids from here, talking from that to there. And they'll keep all Walia. Our people are in me. We don't know
Khamri has
nothing. The
been
only
there
thing we
for a
knew
long
was
time.
Khamri Skada, Khamri Haskilo.
It has
Khamri,
been
all
coming
of-
from Ethiopia
I know.
for a
Khamri, I
long
didn't know say
time.
Khamri what I'm talking about. Hashid Makali, Hashid Yaqani. Dirtan Labi Yaqani. The only drink we knew was Qab, Lani. Simple
So
as that.
this media,
Okay,
you
guys.
know, they
Alright,
watch
guys.
American movies as well. You're acting like we
let's
influence
wrap it up.
everything they
Let's wrap
do.
up with everyone's
Yeah.
opinions. Okay, let's start off with you now. What do you think in general? So you think, so just tell us exactly what your views are. What do you think about Somalis going back home and just us losing our Dhaqan in today's society?
I think our generation here in Europe, you know, we lose our Dhaqan, and the ones Hargeisa they losing their Dhaqan too. But when we come together, it's just too different. We just don't get along together, and they take the piece out of you. You want to understand because you don't understand that joke they end because it's different the way we joke around and the way they joke around. So that's why I think so. It's
So you
just
think, okay, so that's a nice example. So you're saying both
so
parts.
it's
so
both, yeah.
Yeah.
it's both.
Okay, so the diaspora and the Somali community back home.
Just two different clash that just don't understand each other. And I hope, like, if I'm giving you the Ferrari advice to the finger, whoever watching here, if you're going back home, I'll go back home with a nice manner. Just don't take the bad stuff from here, this Gala country, to your own country and ruin your own people.
Okay, fine.
I would say I try to hold on to my culture as much as I can and pass it on to my kids. However, whether that's classed as pure Somali, I'm not sure.
Okay, yes.
Honestly, I love Somalia. I go back as often as I can. Like he said, okay, there's a little bit of, I kind of agree with him, like there's a little bit of misunderstanding, and when people actually warm up to you, they're really nice. They might take the piss out of you to begin with. And we lose, I feel like we're not losing our Dhaqan per se. I feel like we're having an identity crisis because, like they said, when we go back, we're not Somalis. When we're here, we're identifying as Somalis, but we're not really surrounded by like the Somali Dhaqan. So personally, I think we are losing it, but not because we want to, because we're kind of forced to.
Yeah, okay. And
I
Nasra?
agree to some extent, but not we're forced to. I believe that we're just adapting to the society we are in. Like we can see around the world, Somali's been in Holland, Sweden, all the sort of things. They're just adapting to where they are. They're just taking bits of the Dhaqan and keeping that bits that they want to hold dear to them, and keeping that bit alive.
I think that even over 100 years, 200 years, the core of our Dhaqan will always be there. But everything around it will eventually change for our kids. I think the most dangerous part will be that if, say, the third generation Somalis, the fourth generation Somalis, when they can't identify themselves as Somalis anymore, then we've lost our Dakan. But I think the core values of any country, any nation will always be there, and then the rest around it, it changes, and those are the stuff that well and truly are not that important. So we only have got our core values intact and everything.
Yeah.
Yes, guys. So that was Modern Nomads. That was not the Modern Nomads. So let me close the curtain and all of that. I don't want the neighbors to think what's going on. You know them ones there. I hear the Shikian and all that. So what do you guys think about that? Because I think the sister Yaz, she raised up the point that I think it was sister yesterday, what was her name? Punte or Punt, female version. She was raising some of these points as well. So what do you guys think? Do you actually think that there's actually a identity crisis? Let me know through the chats, whenever, in it, yeah. And that's what the main thing is, man. Do you think they raised a couple of beautiful points, these brothers and sisters, actually. And some of the points are, do you think there's a clash? Do you think it's adaptation? Do you think it's bits that we're taking away? Do you think it's adaptation? Do you think certain things are obsolete? That's another question. Obsolete. Let me switch off the camera so if anyone feels like they could jump on, cam or cam off, them ones. We're not really shy. It's up to you guys anyway, them ones. So that's the type of questions that I had today for you guys as well, innit? Yeah. If you guys have just tuned in, there was a brilliant video that we were just watching, and it's called The Modern Nomads. I don't know why everyone loves that name for some strange reason. So they raised a couple of value points that I kind of respected, and I kind of agree with them. I think this video was a couple of years ago, but some of these points have raised, and it's been raising even through yesterday's stream. When the sister was coming on and speaking about certain incidences, and she was kind of speaking about certain things and it was a bit of a tear up. There was a bit of a tear up between some of the brothers and sisters. I'm gonna play a bit of it. And this is where I thought, this bit was kind of interesting. There was a bit that was interesting. I'm gonna hopefully play it later on. You get where I'm coming from. So, what do you guys think, man? Do you think we've been programmed? Do you think the old programs are not working? Do you think there's so much wiring going on? Everything's all confusing. I'm not really sure myself, because sometimes I kind of feel where they come from, especially when you do go back home. But I'm talking about per se in the Western countries. In Western countries, do you feel like the Somali culture is prevalent? Do you think it's needed? Do you think it's necessary? Do you get where I'm coming from? Do you think it's got so much amalgamations and multiple sort of things where it's just combining them, where it has kind of caused the chaos sometimes, and where you do act a certain way where people think, oh, why is she or he acting this way? But you never know. It might be the products of your environment. That's another key issue. It might be the products of your environment and stuff like that. That's what I basically thought to myself. And this type of topic continued from, especially when we're seeing, especially if you guys actually watch Somali Twitter. I've been getting so much messages from Somali Twitter where brothers and sisters are ripping into each other. And even me and brother Liban, we did a video in the park. We did a video on this topic yesterday about arabization, all the things that that causes all this identity crisis in our community. And sometimes it's baffling. I'm not really sure, because with me, I used to think to myself, well, I'm Somali, so Somali is my identity. But I'm starting questioning, what is Somali? Even when I spoke to the sister yesterday, when she was like, I don't even identify as Somali now, I was like, whoa. She's like, I identify as a Puntai or Kushatik, and I was like, okay, that's a new term, because it was created by European constructs, and I was like, even Hatta Maga, I'm Somali, so that's, some people are on that type of extreme where they've gone beyond, and some people even want to identify something else. They're like, yo, don't even identify me like that. I don't even see like that. So, as a group collective, do you think we need to have these type of conversation? What is the culture? What is Somali Nimra? What is it about? Did you learn what it is? Is it Is it something that we're discovering? Is it something that's evolving? Is it something that's stagnative? Is it stagnative into one little place where it's screaming out to be evolved? Are some people scared to evolve the culture? Does that mean we have to let go of certain things? And when we say evolve and all of that, some people would say din kabahba, because we got that type of side as well coming involved, saying no, sin and so for me, I look at these things and I think to myself, I can only speak about myself. Like I said, I've maintained this factor that I don't speak for Somali Dordan. I speak for myself as a Somali, as a Somali male, as a Somali diaspora. And I do think sometimes it is confusing, because I remember my first video on COE, and I got ripped up when I said certain things. I said I don't even think there is a such thing as the Somali culture. Boy, I got handed I said Lugu I was like, and that's the first time I actually got a taste of what the comment section's like. But it used to never bother me. Actually, sometimes, especially if you brothers sisters, hopefully one day you look part your faces out there, you see when certain comments rip you up. And I was like, oh my God. And I just said exactly what, the video, the sister Yas from, I don't know, from Sheffield, where she just said in the video just before, again, go to the channel, Modern Nomads. Brilliant. They got some brilliant topics. I'm not going to lie to you. Some 10 topics that these guys have been discussing. And yeah, it's very interesting. Like, you get where I'm coming from. And it kind of made me think. Did make me think. And well, I don't know what happened to these guys. They got actually quite a decent amount of videos, decent amount of topics that they were discussing. Where I'm coming from. And that was it. Yeah, I think this is another one. There's another one that I thought, you know what, this is kind of great. I wanted to. Even we were talking about some of these subjects, but I wanted to get into something a bit more into this. I think this kind of bothers people. There's a bit of a sticky one. I don't know if you guys want to watch this one. This one's a bit interesting. Let's watch this one as well. And let me know what your thoughts on this one are as well. And maybe this comes part and parcel, because I heard this conversation yesterday as well. Actually, I wanted you guys to re-elaborate and see what this point is.
It's not just us here, there's Africans in general. If you Africans,
really, I think
Africans don't
your
identify
view is
with
very
black, they only
narrow.
identify with their tribe.
Not all of us, only a few.
So what about you? So who's talking? Was this Vegeta or Mahmoud?
That's Mahmoud.
No,
Mahmoud Jordan.
Mahmoud. Okay, so my bad, Mahmoud. Go ahead. I want to hear your point, because I'm just saying, I'm
No,
Somali.
but really, James, in Canada, do Somalis identify as black or Somali?
We're Kadi, another. Well, okay, really, James. You just said one thing. You said Somalis either want to be Medo or they want to be Arab. No. My sister earlier.
I didn't say that. I said
you did. You said it 3 times, brother.
No, because I said the older generation. No, I said the older generation, right? Like even your Hoy and your Abo, right? Depending on your tribe, your Hoy and Abo will say that they'll say that they're connected to they're related to the Prophet, Nabi Muhammad Rasulullah. They'll say they're related, but exactly, but they're not. They don't claim Arab. They don't claim Arab like, oh, that's my ethnicity. They don't claim that, but that's what they're related. Then the youth, the worst is the youth that divides, especially between the young men and young women. And I think this happens a lot.
By the way, geographically, that wouldn't be incorrect, because remember, we are neighbors, and like when we talk about Arab, like the brother mentioned before, what
Who's neighbors? Neighbors
Arabs,
of who?
the idea of Arab was changed. It's not about your genetic makeup. You know, it was whether you can speak the language and take the custom, you know. So when you look at the actual original Arabs, like the
But how many
Yemens,
Somalis speak Arab though? Not a lot.
we are very closely related to Yemeni people.
How are we?
We're
We're
across the
not.
border.
Are we?
Not
I'm
really.
not really.
Are we
Puntai,
not?
that's wrong,
No,
man.
That
I'm
has
more
been.
close to
Puntai,
Oromo.
can I say something?
You know,
Can I
What I
speak?
mean,
So again, that was a bit of a snippet of yesterday's conversation that I picked up on, and I thought to myself, raw, like, and especially the video I watched earlier with the brothers and sisters, and I thought to myself, oh my god, is it really? How can I say per se? All of this, it kind of makes me think. There is. I don't know. I would love to hear your thoughts on this, like with the identity crisis thing. You get where I'm coming from. I would love to hear some of you guys' thoughts on this, and if you really think there is a thing, or do you think we need to accept that we've got multiple layer of cultures, especially being in the UK and being in around the diaspora, so we may have to adapt and maybe like maybe we're getting left behind back home as well, because back home they've got their own thing going on and some people think raw it's really like that, you know what I mean? So it's kind of, for me, it is it's a type of situation where, is it a threat now or is it going to be a threat later on, or people really scared of adaptation? Does that show us Somali that they're not really good at adapting? And that's the type of things that I think about. Are we really scared of change? Are we really scared of this the unknown? Or maybe we need to just figure out cultures evolve. Maybe some people are scared of cultures evolving, and that's the thing I think about. Maybe some people are really shit scared of cultures evolving and stuff like that. So let me play the rest of it and let me know what your thoughts are on it as well. If you didn't watch it yesterday, this is a little snippet of where I kind of got the conversation from.
is there's been centuries
Puntai, listen to me, yeah.
of
Somali is
influx
not
and
by
relation.
no,
trade
but
relation
Puntai,
system.
a Oromo person is more closer to a Somali than a Yemeni because Somalis are
Of
Cushitic
course.
people.
Forget the
Yeah, of
Cushitic.
course.
How do we look?
What I'm
We look
saying
similar
is,
to our neighbors.
what I'm
No,
saying
but if you
is,
go
if
onto
our
Wikipedia,
people,
Mainland neighbors.
if you type Somali on Wikipedia, you
Forget
look
Wikipedia.
at the
Wallah,
bottom right hand side. If you look at related to, it's not going to mention Semitic or Arab. It's going to say Cushitic people.
of
No, fam,
course,
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Let me
we
end
are
this
Cushitic
conversation right now. Let me end
people.
this
But what
conversation
I'm
right now.
saying is, we're
No, let
talking
me
about
end this.
relation with others, right? When it comes to Semites, we are closely related to so-called Yemens and modern-day Saudi Arabia. Because
Or
Maybe
the
No,
linguistic.
same way
in
Rasul
terms of trade, I can
Sallam,
say, for
the same way
example,
not
Rasul
for
linguistic at
example,
Sallam
all.
was
Puntai,
able, one second,
Okay.
the same way
you know
Rasul
Maldives.
Sallam
Maldives
was
used to be
able
a
to send
Somali
his
colony,
men
but are the people in
to
Yes,
Maldives
Rad.
Habasha.
are they Somali or not? Of course not.
طيب راد يفصل
Sorry,
وحبة شقية.
say that
Continue.
again.
Yeah, everyone's speaking too much, man.
I
No,
said
what I was
it's like me
saying.
saying that the people that live in Maldives are Somali because they used to be part of the Ajuran Empire going back
No,
to
I'm
the
not
Middle Ages,
saying that
but
they
they're not.
are. What I'm saying is the brother's not completely far off. That there is that oral history. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm
No,
not saying that that's going to make up an entire makeup of our people.
you
It's
know
of
the
course it's
history though.
not, but there
You know
is
the
that
history of the
oral
Sabians.
history.
You know the history. You know the history between the Sabians. They've interchanged a lot with the Habeshas. The Habeshas share a lot of their league together. Not as Somali people in general. Somalis traded a lot with Yemeni. We share the Ma'awis. We share the same cuisine, but we don't share the same cultural customs. We're pastoralist people that live off camel milk and meat. That's who we are. The way how we dress, the way how we look. We share a lot more people interland. There's the Gulf of Aden that we have to cross to get there. Even the people that crossed there were Somali merchants. The pastoralists don't have that history. You know what I mean? So it has a completely different culture. Even when it comes to language, we share more with the Afan Oromo than we share with Afsam and with Arabic. With Yemen,
Oh,
Yemen
of
has a lot more
course.
connection with
Yeah, so that got me thinking. When the people were arguing yesterday, it got me thinking, and especially when I saw the video earlier. So again, I'm gonna ask you, brothers and sisters in the chat, like that brothers and sisters that's watching as well. What you guys think, though? Do you think it's time to face that we got a crisis, or do you think we should ignore this, or do you think we should just move on? Like, or do you think Do you think this actually happens to every society, where they come to the crossroads of evolution, outside influences? This is sad. Why is it sad, though, Khalif? Why do you think it's sad, my brother? You get me? I'd love to hear your voice one day, man. I'd love for you to come up and express your opinions instead of being a keyboard warrior. You get where I'm coming from? Why do you think it's sad? Why do you think it's sad? That's what I like to ask brothers and sisters. Why do you guys think it's sad? And or do you think we just have to face like? Or do you think we have to just admit the truth? That sometimes things, cultures move, people move on, times change, evolution. It was evolution. Some people are scared of. It's something that we taught. Oh, things can't change, or things have to stay the same. Because that's what it really is. Or do you think like human beings themselves per se? You say people choose to be. Maybe people don't know what they are. Maybe what it is. Maybe this is what it is. Maybe we really don't know, have a clue who we are. That's the thing. Gula Dahir said the biggest problem is what do you think that is? Why do you think people don't speak their language? Because people love to say comments like Guled. You get me? Guled's another guy that's a click finger guy as well, in a trigger finger character. But Guled, how prevalent is language as well? How prevalent is speaking language? That's the thing. Do you think that's the key? Because you speak a language, does that make you culturally the person? Because I know a lot of people that speak of Somali or Lahain. It's crystal clear to see. So again, is that argument debunked itself? Do you get where I'm coming from? He said language is key. To a certain extent, though, Guled. Maybe to a certain extent, no. Maybe to a certain extent. That's the thing. Maybe to But how many people do you know actually? If you even go back to the video earlier that I played, they were saying people back home have sort of modernized what they're doing. Why is it called that diaspora that's stuck on this? We need to. What's this? I'm a Cushitic. Well, what is it then? What is an Cushitic? How many people could claim Kushites, if you don't mind me asking? And he said the Somali language is an ancient. Are we sure? How do you know that's true? Because Khalif, you gotta remember, there's Arabic, there's this language in it, there's Hindi in it, there's this language in it. If it's such an ancient language, shouldn't it be preserved? And shouldn't no other influences be in that language? That's another question. Because are these theories that we've been taught as young people being debunked in front of our faces? That I don't know. Because if you're saying it's an ancient language, how comes it's got Hindi, Arabic? How comes it's got so much amalgamations in it? That's what I don't know. You get me? If it is, I don't know. Someone in the chat, please let me know. Let me know what Khalif said. He tried to say, like, at the end of the day, it is an ancient. Where's the evidence? How does it date back to? How do you know we might have, copied this and it might have been a remix or someone else might be using it? So you never know. You never know. It might be. That's one thing I gotta look at as well. So yeah. But I like to get to Guled's point. He said one of the biggest mushkilas, like Guled said on the board here, one of the biggest problems, people do not speak their mother language. Again, everyone in the chat, how prevalent is that? How important is that? الأفكار وكل شيء يمكن إلى منطقة بدينا في إنجليزي بنكون شيء سنة majority of the stream هدارون طبعا أكثر في إنجليزي بنقول هاد ليه يمكن why هذا يفتحوا هذا مهم time had of Somali كوري ويدي. That's another question I gotta ask you. Do you know where I'm coming from? So yeah, you keep them rolling. I'll try to answer them as best as I can. Yes, big up, my brother. Arman, what's going on? Talk to me.
Alaikum, brother. How you doing, bro? You good?
I'm alright, bro. Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good.
What's up? What's going now?
Talk to me. What's going on? Talk to me. Is it time for a revolution? Is it time for a deprogramming? Is certain things obsolete? Talk to me, my brother. What do you think? No, man.
100%. Well, Somalis need like reform, you know, in all aspects, bruv, in every factor you can imagine. Reform on, you know, like politically, like the whole, you know, Somali politics, well, it's a mess. You know, you know, every, you know, that's a whole, something else completely. We just spend hours and hours.
We've got a new panelist called Joe. Salam alaikum, Joe. Hello. 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 So, we've got this new character. Hello, can you speak up? J.O. Let him come back in. I don't know why. I might have to kick him out and then come back in. Yeah, talk to me. Yeah. So I had to kick him out, man. I don't know his connection. What did he say? Ha ha ha. So Guled Dyer just wrote something in the chat as well. No, but what did he write in the chat? I don't know what happened to Arman as well. Arman just froze on me one time. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yo.
What's happened? What's happened? Sorry, I got cut off there, bro.
You got cut off. You got cut. Yeah, some guy tried to jump in and jump out.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Now, what I was saying was, like, we need to reform also our relations with other groups, other races, Arab, West, African nations, you know, Bantu African nations, and so on. Definitely, that all needs to. The way we look at the Deen as well, kind of needs reform. Listen, I know nowadays there's a lot of hot potato talking about, you know, the Deen, where you got these murtads and liberals and, you know, these reformers
confused
to come in.
Yeah, you're saying them.
What I'm saying is, when I say
you're saying them guys that want acceptance. I want acceptance.
I mean, exactly. That want mixed messages and, you know, gays to be accepted into the, you know, into Islamic, into the Deen. So you're gonna have like gay nikahs in mosques, subhanallah, astaghfirullah. Like you have gay weddings in churches. This is what these people want. You get me, bro?
This is what I was
saying. When I say reform, I'm not talking about that.
This is what I was saying. Oh man, I was saying this to the sister yesterday when she was talking about, you know, the Arab culture, this, that we need to. I'm like, sis, okay, you're gonna rip things off, yeah. What are you gonna replace with? Ansuqawiyyo, let me do this. And then when she had to look back in a sort of, like I said, I had this free conversation with 3 sisters in the space of this week, in it, yeah, and they were talking about the Arab culture, I'm like, we stripped that away. All right, let's throw that out the window. And then she's gonna answer. I was like, okay, if it's mental health, is this, is this, that, we have to be specific, especially when we're talking about this Arab thing, innit? Yeah.
Exactly.
If you want to get rid of shame culture, what are you gonna replace it with? What? No shame? Everything's normal? When do you cross the boundaries? When does that actually become Arab? So that becomes the revolution as well, and ever deprogramming. What do you think?
See, they get it twisted, bruv. They think just because, listen, nobody's for rape. You know what I'm saying? Rape is a horrendous, horrible, disgusting thing. But these people want to act like they want to, you know, put like something like rape or FGM on the same level as going clubbing. It's ridiculous. When I say like Somalis, we need to reform like how we view the Deen. What I'm talking about is like, you know, Duxi culture, for example. I think instead of just teaching Alif Ba Ta, you know, and just alphabets, you should to teach the Arabic language as well. Somali Duxis don't do that. You get me? That needs to be changed. You know, if you got kids, mashallah, they Hafids, you know, they can memorize the whole Quran, every single chapter, every single verse. Mashallah, that's all well and good. But if they don't understand what they're saying during prayer or when they're reading the Quran or memorizing the Quran, then almost like, what's the point? You get me? So they should teach the language as well, the understanding of the language. Also, another thing, I think when it comes to Duxi thing as well, another thing that needs reform is just because I think there needs to be checks put in place to people who work in Duxis, teach the Quran to the little ones. I mean, anyone could just walk in and say they know the Quran, they know the Sunnah, they know everything, and suddenly they have access to your kids. No background checks.
Yeah.
No, in the West, like even
qualification. The qualifications. Well, what
no
man? How
background
did
check,
you?
no-
How did you qualify? Where?
not even just about that. It's about criminal. Is this person have a criminal past?
That's true.
Migat.
That's true.
Is he a nonce? Is he some pedo? Migat. In the West, for example, like if you want to be a working a dinner man or dinner lady, or the lollipop man or lollipop woman, you're still going to be a CRB.
Criminal. Yeah.
You're still going to have your
You're going to be CRB
background. But it seems like for us Muslims, we just accept anyone that just walks into the masjid that says, "Yeah, mashallah, brother, I know, you know," but no one knows what this guy's past is. Don't know what this guy's like. Don't know, does he have any convictions, perhaps, with involving children? That needs to change. Stuff like that.
Needs to change. Okay.
So those types of reforms as well. Like also, who are we as a people as well needs to.
This is the thing. Even yesterday, like one thing that threw me off here is when the sister came on. She's like, "I don't even want to identify as Somali no more. I want to identify as a Puntite." I'm like, "What the fuck's this?" I'm like, "Bro, what the fuck is this?"
She is so lucky.
She's trying to say, I want to strip. No, but she wants to strip away this, like, because Somalia, she was telling me, was a colonial name, Ludi Bay. We need to strip certain things, and I was like, whoa. I was like,
that's a bit nutty. Even the whole thing, like even her jumping on the Puntite thing. You know what she reminded me of when she was going on about Puntite and Puntite? Like she reminded me of these "We Was Kings" lot. The Black American lot that says about ancient Egypt and Kemet and Aksum. The "We Was King" people. Like, she literally.
No, but then again, man, that begs, yes, Vegeta in the building. Salam alaikum, bro. Then this begs to ask the question. Is there an identity crisis facing us right now? Are we really, really? Faisal says she sounds like a black spiritualist. I don't think so. I feel like the sister she was saying, I don't but she's deeply into her roots. But it got to a stage where, okay,
no, I'll be honest with you. I'll be honest with you.
As well,
I could smell inferiority complex from her. Like, I really could. Like, because really, like, even the Puntite thing, I see a lot of young Somalis banging on about that nowadays. Geographically speaking, the whole Puntite kingdom or empire that ancient Egyptians claim to be originated from. Some people are saying it's all the way from Eastern Sudan all the way to Eritrea, the coast of Sudan, to the Eritrea, all the way to Djibouti. Some are saying it's stretched further into northern coast of Bari and Somaliland and Waqooyi Galbeed. So no one really knows. Really, I'll be honest with you. Because I'm
I say that again. Sorry, you froze. You froze a little bit. I'm sorry, Alma. Repeat that a little bit again. What do you say? You just froze.
No, what I said was I'm Ali Salava Majartan, innit? So my people, they're from North Bari, the coast of Magala called Kondala. They were just humble fishermen. That was my Yashid. And I'm okay with that. I don't feel butthurt that my Yal didn't build pyramids or great civilizations. I don't feel butthurt about that. I don't feel inferiority about that.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. You say I'm good at. I'm good at. What you say? I'm good at my nomadic pastoral history. I'm happy. I'm good with that.
I'm good with that. See, a lot of these people, they have inferiority, so they want to cling on to something that is greater than.
No, but then again, Arman, listen to this shit. Well, you're forgetting, you're negating the fact that, okay, the Galban would die horrendous, maybe this is a sort of backlash. Maybe other nations could learn, say if a nation is going through our disaster, okay, like, this is what happens to you. A young generation with multiple cultures, because what pisses me off as well, it's 1 minute Muslim, 1 minute Arab, 1 minute this, 1 minute this. We just keep hearing new things. And I'm like, what happened to just being a good old fashioned Gulf Somalia? How is that out of date? Is it not refreshing enough? You
It
tell
is,
me.
it is, it is. A lot of people, again, they just don't want to be associated with being Al Somali. Maybe they look at Wadanka, they see tribalism sky high, they see civil war for 30 plus years now.
I know.
They see starvation, famine, maybe poverty, you name it. So maybe they has Majalla, they don't like that. So they want to move away from that and claim to be something that they're not, which is just ridiculous. Listen, every nation goes through a period of turmoil, a
Ups
period
and
of
downs.
ups and downs. Look, even the Chinese now, they're from the mid 1800s to the mid 1900s, like up until it's called a century of shame or something like that, amongst the Chinese, where they were colonized by Britain. Portugal took the southern part of Macau. The Japanese came and genocided them for about 50 something years. And now look at them, they're the global superpower now, and they're going to be the biggest superpower in the world. They're going to
But then again, okay.
And,
You see them disasters, like you're saying, the Chinese, it galvanized them. They went through starvation, they went through famine. They sent out the Chinese diaspora, 60 million of them. They invested back home. How did they get themselves out of that rut? Should we take lessons out of that? But then again, this is the problem. But this is the problem, Ololo. This is the problem. Some of you guys, nationalism, some of you guys, Somali, some of you guys, so what can galvanize us? Because if you say Islam as well, Islam's been there for a hot minute. You know this, I know this. And
you know
some
what can
people,
galvanize us,
Shabab, these. Okay, go ahead.
You know what it is, bro? I'd say would galvanize us is parenthood. Like, that's what it boils down to. We got to some Somali parents have, with respect, obviously, because we're scared refugees, so you can, cut them some slack in that. But in the West, kind of done a pretty much of a bad job with respect, in the sense
our parents,
up to.
But would you say our parents did a bad job though?
No, what I'm saying in that way.
You know what? Yeah, you see what it is. Go on, come through. But then again, this is one thing I don't like is to blame Somali parents, because
you had a lot
they tried.
Unfortunately. Well, we have to recognize just the faults that we have. Unfortunately, you had a lot of RBLs, or back in up until 5-6 years ago, Mudfish go all day long, chilling, you name it. The Hoyas, at her Sahibyal house, gossiping about other Hoyal, and the boys are just out, running wild in the estate, and the girls are, also just going mental. Some others are going to Kenya and shit, Africa, and suddenly the girl seeing that, getting, having daddy issues. Also, they did install a pride in Somalia type, or has, it's what they should have said it to us. Like, we had no Somali schools. Like, growing up, I had Turkish friends. Every Saturday, bro, I tell you, they would go to Turkish school where they were taught their They were taught. You had that as well. I know you grew. You're from
I live
North.
in North, man. I'm living North. Them lot had their own schools. After Turkey, Lugudigi, all of that. You get me? But big man Shimbir Shooter said, "Yo, I'm speaking facts. You don't know I'm speaking facts." Big up Mahamud Shirta, my brother, family, all day long in the chats. I see you. Yeah, you're speaking facts because do you know what it is? Yeah, this is what I've been championing for in London. You got to start off where you at. Yeah, I've been championing and I've been working with Scrutiny, hopefully Miami in the chats. I see you. I'm trying to cook something in the free. I'm trying to cook something up with you as well, innit? Yeah. We need to speak to these community centers and actually try to look at, just in London, a Somali cultural center where you get help with off mental health support. I'm talking about jobs, and it doesn't. And I think it has to be across boroughs as well. What do you guys think?
Yeah,
the Turks, I'm not gonna lie, growing up with Turks, I see Turks going to there. I see Sunday school that take a year. With us, I think it was just Malawada. And that was it. That's really not. That was real.
That's as far as it goes with that. And I think we need to do that. I think a Somali school thing on the weekends would be good, where you could teach the deen, also teach the document, Afka, I mean, Somalis can't even speak a lick of Somali. Like, that is such Arab. Speaking of Arab culture, that is Arab in itself, bro. You get me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
707 said it. Yeah, I'm even subscribed to their channel. They've got a whole, Minnesota's got a whole Somali museum in it. Yeah, I'm subscribed to the YouTube channel, and I was like, "Wow, mashallah, these lot are doing it on YouTube, innit?" Yeah, but
hey, shall I tell you something funny about that museum in Minnesota? You're gonna love
go on.
you're not gonna love this because this is quite vital. What happened? You know, last year when the whole George Floyd thing was going on, some tapped Somalis in Minnesota raided that museum and stole from it. They looted the museum. Wallah.
What were you gonna take from that? What are you
I'm
really
sure
gonna take
any
from that?
Red America, I'm sure any Red America will
I
vote
heard
for
it.
me. Like literally,
I heard this. I heard this.
They actually stole from it. It's
I heard
ridiculous.
this. I heard
Again,
about this. But then
no
again,
Somali crime.
no, but me and you, man, face to face, we'll be talking about the degeneracy. There's a lot of degeneracy. That's just a degeneracy move. I'll tell you the truth. Like, how you breaking it? Like, if you're right, cool. I'm not for rioting. I'm not right now. Mark my words. I'm not trying to tell people go right and riot. But if you're gonna actually, man, how to take it, you got, man, like, come on, you're gonna help a Somali shop. How you're gonna take? Oh, well, like, Somali items like, come on, man, that's bullshit, man. But I told you, there's a big problem. Like, this is what I'm saying. The part of the degeneracy culture, we have a Somali festival week. It happens every October in London. We need to link up. No, it's not even that. Gee, I hear that. But what is a week? I'm talking about actual cultural center that focuses on dadka caawinayaan, dadkana shaqo gelinayaan, dadka la socda senses, dadka dowladu u baahan in la caawiyaan, when passaportkooda, whatever. I know they do it in separate boroughs, but I feel like where it tackles knife crime, it tackles really deep down issues. That's what the London community really needs.
Definitely.
Do you get where I'm coming from? So if anyone that speaks to these community guys, you get where I'm coming from.
Degeneracy is proper like rife amongst the kids. Like you get now, like all the hype things. Boys want to be Somali boys want to be rappers and drill artists. And it's ridiculousness like that. Like like go educate yourself. They want to be a doctor, architect, an engineer. So let's no, you don't want to do that. You instead want to, make some tunes, to make some hits. And the things.
But then again, do you think that? No, but Armin, do you think that's pressure that the parents are putting on the child though as well? Like, say, look, if the child's academically smart enough or capable enough, do we have to push them into like, okay, how many parents? Like right now, like I said, I work in the construction industry. For the last 5 years, the Somalis are growing in the industry right now. But like, even when I was speaking to people, like a couple of people, like 10 years, what? There was none of you guys even came for none of this type of industry type of work. So, do you think we push our children into fields and stuff here where maybe they're not academically capable enough? It's just to keep up with the Hirsis, keeping up with the Hirsi syndrome, innit? Yeah, like keeping up with the Jones. But I say keeping up with the Hirsis, where we just copying. Do you get what I'm coming from? Just copying and just Habilaya's son is
now
we call it keeping up with the Hirsis, isn't it? Hirsi is a big famous Somali name, innit? Yeah, so we're gonna say keeping up with the Hirsis, innit? Yeah, so I feel like that is a problem that we need to start doing as well. Yeah. My man said, "Big up Abdi."
Yeah, Chunks. He did well on that. He did well on that one.
What about Halima Aden as well?
Props to him.
Do you think Halima Amazon as well? Do you think she did props as well? Like for keeping up.
She really did good. Also, wallahi, I take my hat off to Halima. What's her name again? Halima Aden.
Halima Aden. I think her name's Halima.
I take off my hat to Halima and Chunks, wallahi, because they have set a good example for the Somali youth. For her to quit modeling, and for Chunks to quit music, where they could be earning, big bucks. I'm talking big bucks, and to say no to all of that, to say, screw all that. Wallahi, that takes a lot of principle.
It takes a lot. It takes a lot.
They have my respect. They have my respect because nowadays it's all about getting your paper. People do anything for that fame and money. And I'll be honest with you, if I had a great singing voice, I think I'd probably be, making a few hits now and then. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean. But at the same time,
yeah, no, but really.
But do you think? Okay, cool. But then again, say if a brother or sister does have talent in that type of field, should we be like, I don't do it? but say if the person's talented and this is what they love to do, and then they're not a street banger. Say if we have a next somebody Ed Sheeran or Colette, should we put that brother or sister off if they're not doing drill music? Or is it just the ones that say Imaka? If we see it, we find a Somali artist right now, comes up and he's more into like sort of Ed Sheeran and he's on this calm music, whatever. Because I know music's haram and all of that, it's not good to promote haram, but should we encourage that person to pursue that talent? Or is it just a drill artist? Okay, that's a bit sticky, innit?
That's a bit sticky. You know what? My view was about music is, Now I know, like, you know, a lot of scholars, a lot of, you know, educate people on the deen would say that's flat out haram. It's flat out wrong, you know. But at the same time, look, I'll be honest with you, I'd be a lie if I said I don't listen to music. I listen to music, you get me? I don't listen to this hip hop bullshit or drill thing that's going on right now. You know, probably because I'm too old for that for a start.
I'm too old. Yeah, I'm too old as well. I'm the same age group as you in it though.
Once you get past 25, bro, and you approach 30, bro, you're like, nah, this is not my cup of tea, bro. But listen, if at my point of view, going back to the music thing, if you're not promoting degeneracy, you're not promoting violence and materialism. Instead, your songs are about, you know, the goodness of the world and love and, you know, halal love, that is. Then, you know, go on ahead, but just don't have naked women twerking in your videos and stacks of cash flying around and making it rain, you know.
So Arman, your thing basically your thing is basically
definitely.
If you're not promoting degeneracy, if you're not promoting degeneracy, we could give you a little blight. But if you're promoting juk, bang down, rare, and then like, you ain't got a leg to stand on. But then again, do you think these people actually give a fuck? Do you think they care? Because like you're saying, I said, do you think some of these brothers and sisters actually care? As long as you're saying, as long as you're not promoting degeneracy, it's calm. It's all right. Can you hear me?
What's happened? Oh, is my internet really that crap?
No, I don't think so. What did Abdi say? What about a? I think this is. I think that one's it's a gender fluid one, isn't it? As long as you're not. Look, at the end of the day, we're not scholars. Me and Arma, we're not here trying to be scholars. We're not trying to school anyone about that. We're just raising a bit of questions. And for me, it's the degeneracy shit. If you're promoting it, Abdi, like, you get me? If you're a big man of Somalia, promoting Yali and let's stand on the block, hashish EV, Medika tag, like, we got a question. We got to question you as a community. We got to call you out, bro. We got to call you out. That's what it is. We got to call you out. And that's what I think. That's what me and brother Arma was talking about. Still, yes, guys, we're gonna be running the show for another hour. So if y'all guys loving what we're doing, I don't know, he's connecting. I'm back, bro. Yeah, I know you're back, but it's just your thing is connecting still. I can hear you, but it's doing the bad what it just think. You get where I'm coming from. Yeah. So I think we're gonna dive into the bit where, you know, deprogramming. What do we need to deprogram? People in the chats, talk to us. Yeah, there you are. He's back. As soon as he came back, he just disappeared. Big up my brother Arman. You get me? Use that.
Yeah. No. What it is I don't know, because they're setting up some new.
No, it's the weather as well. It's the weather. I'm not gonna lie to you, man, because you know what? I was planning to do my show earlier. But the internet cut off and it was just crazy. And then I had to wait for Virgin to. They're like, "Yeah, it's just the weather because it is really, really nasty out there still." You got coming from? But man, a lot of people are saying, this brother said, "What about a Somali woman that's singing or rapping? She's part of the degeneracy. It's just like the boys, bro." Cause I see one Somali sister coming up now in the rap game. I'm looking, I'm like, raw, like.
You see, like going to music, you know, Somali music, for example, looking at the lyrics and listening to the songs, you don't get no degeneracy. I don't know if you listen to some music, you don't get it. Like they talk about love and so on, jail ka, stuff like that. But that's about it, bro. Like
that's about it. But none of this bang bang. I'm in the block. I'm shooting. I'm doing something. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. It's none of that. It's none of that crap.
They don't talk about anything explicitly sexual or stuff like that. They keep it halal, so to speak. Get me? So that type of songs and those types of singing, I have no problem with. But as soon as Nico and I wanna get my tits out and that WAP, singing about your pussy and stuff like that, like Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion, them girls there. No, that's where I draw the line in the sand.
You have to draw the line. You hear me? You have to. Where do we? Because that's what I was asking the sisters the other day. I was like, yo, listen. What was it? Someone said she got kicked out of her yard for making music.
Who's that?
Of course, who's that? 707. Who's that? We want to know who's that. Apparently, a sister got kicked out of her rerke, the gurugeda, because she wanted to make music and she wants to blow in it. Right. See where I'm coming from? Yeah, Khali Abdurrahman, Khali Abdullah said there's a sister in Scandinavia. Look, there's a couple of brothers and sisters in the Scandinavian side. They're kind of killing it. I'm not gonna lie to you. The top dual music artists, the people in Scandinavia, that's Somali one. I was thinking to myself, right?
You see now, again, this boils down to Somalis wanting to emulate like the bad aspects of Mado culture. Again, I'm not being racist or anything like that, but unfortunately, New World Mados, New World Blacks, that's black people from the Caribbean and America, unfortunately, they do have, high rates of degeneracy in their culture, which is just accepted, And
I don't think so, man. I don't think so, man. Bro, you can't really say that.
Come on.
You can't really, who?
Just planting your seed and running off into the sunset, like,
I know that to me, where does that come from? But then again, as Muslims, we could say that's haram. But if someone says I'm not Muslim, that's not haram for me. Like, who are we to?
They want to emulate that gangster nemo where shooting up a block, shotting food, dealing drugs and so on. That's all looked up to amongst young Somalis. Instead of we look up to the wrong people. I say Somali kids, young Somalis, should make their kids, should look at their, their Asian friends, for example. They're doing so well. Growing up, Khalid, for real, let me ask you this. You as a kid growing up in Northwood, did you ever see Tamajilak children in the football cages after school? Be honest now.
No, well, like Chinese and we had one Chinese brethren. I'm not gonna lie, Vietnamese. He used to come kick ball with us after club.
Very rare.
Very rare. I'm not gonna lie to you. Very rare.
You know where they are? They're at home doing their homework.
Or they're at home or in the shop.
As soon as school finishes at 3 o'clock, bro, they're out there. They seriously run straight home. By 3:30, they're either in the living, sat on the dinner table, doing their homework, or like you said, running the shop. So we need to instill that toughness. That what's it called? It's called tiger parenting. I believe there's a term for it. Yeah, we need to take a leaf. Tiger parenting, where you instill where you instill the love of academical studies, and that is what we need to focus on.
But then, Armin, does that come from
those kids?
But Armin, does that come from a strong father? And does that come with a strong father figure in the household?
Strong father and strong mother. You got to have the both. Strong father and strong mother. Because them kids sat at home now today, them kids who by 3 o'clock were at home or in the shop for their parents instead of the football cages or outside the local McDonald's or the chicken shop. Today, what are they? They're either solicitors or engineers or doctors or scientists. So it clearly works, that method of parenting, rather than just letting your kid run wild in their estate, around their estates, getting involved with the wrong crowd, getting groomed by the elders. You know what I mean?
Abdi said discipline. Do you think we're allowed to discipline? Do you think discipline is flown out of the window, man? As a young parent, would you discipline your kid?
Of course, yeah. I'd get the belt and everything, bro. Sonk is you know, that was there. You know.
So you're one of the parents. You tell the kid, "Sunk,
Yep. Yeah, it's literally one of them. You know, back you always use. Listen, I'm old enough to be, you know, where my parents used to say to me, "Go outside," because we lived right next to a park. You see, yeah, literally, that's literally. The house was there, and the park was just right there. And my mom and dad would be like, "Go outside and get a stick." You know what I mean? You'd be scouring. Yeah, you know, there was.
Yeah, but then again, Armand, do you think that parenting is obsolete? You can't do that to these modern children, because that causes what's it called, childhood long-haul childhood trauma. And I've seen it. I've seen some grown-ass men on the platform, literally childhood trauma. Like they ain't let go of it, so it's kind of weird.
Again, listen, look.
I don't want to say his name, but we call him Cinderella anyway. By the way, yeah. But I know what I'm talking about, yeah.
No, I'm not even gonna lie. I was beaten at Duxie, you know, proper beating, bro. And I don't hold any ill will against those Duxie teachers or my parents or cry and bitch about it now that I'm a big ass 30-year-old man or 29, 30 in October, but near enough. Again, it's all about just bloody be a man. You know, Samatido, you have a gus for a reason, bro. Stop crying about something that happened when you was a kid. Stop being a little baby.
Okay, like you're saying, being a man. Yeah, certain men weren't taught to be men, or say certain men can't let go of their childhood trauma. Is that part of the new Dagan that's in us? I've got childhood trauma. I can't let that go.
You know what that boils down to?
Cinderella, he can't let that go in it. Yeah, so I think to myself, what's wrong with Cinderella? But carry on.
Seems like Cinderella's a bit of a pussy, like if you ask me. You get it. We got it. But what I'm saying is, like, again, look, you don't want to go too extreme where you're beating the kid or you're disciplining the kid. You know, he goes to school with bruises, you know, or he can't walk right or sit right because you kicked him a few times too hard. You know, there needs to be a certain level. There's good amounts of discipline, but obviously you don't want to go overboard where it becomes abuse.
This sister said it's not a cure. You get me? If you cannot explain to your child, okay, what the world is, okay, what can hitting them do? What did the sister say? What do you think about that?
Again, you know, yeah, you do need to know the kid when you're disciplining them. Hey, listen, Haldaha, I'm gonna give you a belting because I don't know, you acting up in school, talking back to the teachers or bunking classes. So therefore, you're gonna get a few licks of this belt. You get stuff like that. That's reasonable. But for no, you know, you're just gonna go beat the kid senseless. Oh, little minor things, you know.
I don't know, man. I don't really subscribe. I think I'm with this sister. I think she's a sister anyway. I don't even know. Yeah, she might be non-binary. You know them ones. Guy with a girl's face. Yeah, Cinderella antics, innit? Yeah. But listen to this. Yeah.
Never know nowadays, bro.
You never know. What about this person? What put in being involved in being an involved father is the most important thing. Raising your kids properly, or either another man does it or the streets. What do you think?
Absolutely, bro.
I think that's a nightmare to certain man. Another man raising your kids. What do you think about that? Or either the streets would, especially.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. Listen, if you're a man and you got a kid, and then or kids for that matter, and then something happens in the marriage, you don't work out, and you leave, you still, you know, even though you're not with the mom, you still got a duty to the kids. Me as a dad, and you got to be there for them. You got to still provide for them. Pay the child support, pay for the, you know, school things, after school clubs, you know, sport activities, whatever. You know, you got to still be there for them. You got to talk to them. You got to take care of them. You got to show what's going on in their life. You got to, you know, be there for them. But you're just gonna, as soon as the marriage is over and divorce comes, then you duck out. Obviously, then the next man will come, and you know, your kids will start calling him Apple.
And I think that's a nightmare for certain man. I think
that's why you got to be there, bruv. That's why you got to be there. You know?
Big up my sister, mate, is Mona. Big up.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, sister.
Hello.
You're right, Wallah. How are you?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you. I just, as I was coming on, I heard Cinderella is a pussy. Just laughing.
No, we
Because-
call a certain individual Cinderella, innit? Now, do you know it's certain people got the Cinderella story, innit? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'd say that is, you know what it is? It's certain individuals came up on this place with childhood trauma as men.
Yeah.
And that's something scary as Somali man. I know, me personally, I can't relate to that. I don't
Yeah.
think but from example, it is, and it kind of showed in some certain individuals' characteristics. And this is true. And what me
Yeah.
and Arman are saying, as men,
Yeah.
should we bulk up to it? Is it part of the changing community? Like, you know, like today's subject as well, revolution,
Yeah.
is it
Yeah.
deprogramming? Is this part of
It is. I think it's
being
key to, yeah.
Go ahead, sis. Come
So
through,
I
sis.
think it's key to deprogramming, actually, realizing that we're human and, you know, we've actually been through, as a community, a lot of trauma that others haven't gone through, and they still need support and help with their mental health. So we just need to face up to it. Wallahi, it's really sad, but yeah, men have to understand that it's part of them, and they need to deal with it so that they can, you know,
Move
grow
on.
and prosper and thrive. Because it's not just
yeah.
about existing and living. You know, it's about thriving in our environment. And we know dealing with past traumatic experiences is really vital to getting on with your life. And sometimes it's a barrier. And I think it's brave for men to identify that, and say, oh, actually, well, I wake up to kid out all the time. It's on my head more than I'd like, and I'd address it. And there are a lot of services in the West that we should be taking advantage of. I don't think there's any shame for that.
Now I say no. For me, I'd say any one of our brothers and sisters that have these issues or have like certain things that's weighing them down, whatever, seek therapy, man. Talk about it, but don't do ala'al. There's a difference between ala'al, and then actually seeking the help. And I think a lot of our people get that thing muddled up.
Muddled up, yeah. You could do ala, I suppose. But no,
too many
definitely.
Allah in our community. Too much Allah.
Do you think it's not halal? I don't think it's halal. I think, really truthfully, May, you wanted to chime in this from early in the beginning of the chat. Do you think there is an identity crisis? I said this nearly 2 years ago on my first video, and I got ripped it like in the comment section. They ripped into me, innit? Yeah.
Wow.
I saw the video earlier with modern nomads, a group up in Sheffield, and a bunch of brothers and sisters that were talking about certain subjects.
Yeah.
Do you think this is prevalent, Arman and sister? Do we have this issue, and do you think we need to start realizing we've got an identity crisis?
Yeah,
absolutely. But you know what? Me, if someone asks me, what, you know,
I'm gonna come back 2 minutes, guys. Yeah, 1 second.
You know, if someone asks me personally, what are you? I'd be like, I'm Somali. I've never had any worries about who I am or what I am. You know, no confusion. Anyone can tell I'm Somali. Even a Romani gypsy can tell from a mile away that I'm Somali. You know what I mean? Look at that forehead. You know, so you can land a jet on that forehead.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, have we not all used that one before? I think that's just the most common.
You know what I mean? It's not even a joke. But even Ajnabis will know of this. You know, top of that. I've had people come up to me on the street. You know, Mados, Adans, and so on. Who are Muslim, say, "Oh, Assalamu alaikum, brother. Do you know which way to the station is, or do you know where that shop is, or the post office?" Instantly, they know I'm Somali. Instantly, they know I'm Muslim.
Yes.
If a foreigner knows who you are, then, or what you appear to be on the outside, then how can you yourself be unsure of who you are? Or am I Arab? Or am I black? Or am I what? You know.
Yeah, you're so right. I mean, I feel the same as you. I've never had an identity problem. But are we from a different generation? Are we from a slightly older generation? And our parents enforced our culture on us. They enforced our language on us. We had to do Quran. On top of that, we had to know how to write Somali and speak Somali.
I think this whole thing is mostly like, I don't know about you, but I'm 29. So, you know.
I'm a lot older than you. I'm even the older generation, older than that.
With me and people, with my friends, like growing up, like we were Somali, 100%. I grew up in, you know, Southeast London, a place called Woolwich, back in the late 90s, early 2000s. You know, there's kind of like a massive little thing where you know, the mothers were trying their, you know, their usual tricks. You know what I'm saying? With Somalis, we have to do our business. You get me?
So you had to. So sorry, brother, you had to fight for your Somali Nemo. I think there was a lot of that. We were very proud. We were connected to our culture, even though it was quite a hectic one, and it was from the, Civil War. I think we're losing that because that connection is being lost. And I really, when you guys were talking about language earlier, because I've done work in the community and everything, and how important language is, because we forget how do we communicate with our children if the mum's speaking Somali and the children are speaking English. We expect the parents to discipline them in this new way, in this new Western strategy. Oh no, you can't hit them. What do you mean? You have to communicate and put. It's really difficult if you don't speak the same language as the child. They speak English and you're speaking Somali, and they can understand Somali, but they don't speak back, which is what I found to be prevalent in our community at the moment, which then hinders our prosperity as a community.
But then again, sis, do you think it's time where we started hounding the governments down, hounded our community centers down, and start saying, well, this is what we need. We need places that teach our kids Somali, or Somali culture centers.
Yes.
Because a lot of communities do have their culture centers. Like in North London, there's a big West Caribbean community culture center, Irish culture center.
Yes.
Where are the Somali culture centers?
Well, basically, from what I know, there was a lot of them have closed down because Somali parents were prioritizing Quran, which obviously is, and there's only so much day in when they do football practice, when they do after school club. I felt like the parents had to prioritize their time, and a lot of mothers were doing things on their own. And they did really prioritize the Quran and then the school. So what happens is there's no room for writing. There were suggestions that there should be like a Saturday Somali thing, but the interest just wasn't there from when I was working in the community. Yeah, there was more.
But since now times have changed.
Yeah.
Do you think where it's like times have changed, things have evolved where people need it now? Before it wasn't really needed because everything. Well, you gotta remember rushing this. We didn't have that much time, but now because of certain influences, certain things happen in our culture, where actually it is needed.
Yeah.
Maybe we put it to the back more and we didn't value it at that time, but now we actually need it.
Yeah.
It's a must.
Just because culture is so connected to identity, and identity is so key to success on an individual level, on a community level. You need to know what your past is to understand your future and how you're gonna. Do you know what I mean? It's all connected, so I think it's vital. And we start with language, and then that teaches us about who we are, dress sense. I mean, music, gabe. When we were younger in this country, we used to go to like a community center, and we used to learn about gabe. We used to learn how to sing Somali songs. We used to learn how to do Somali dancing. Now, how many people learn that these days?
Hardly.
So, mate, Dante, yeah?
Yeah, yes. Of course, I make sure I know all of them just to be
I got to see that.
politically correct.
But listen, you know what, Muna, you just raised a good point. Earlier when you just said the downfall of those Somali communities that we had, but now we don't, is because the Somali parents were prioritizing the Quran, teaching the Quran over. That's why I think you need an infusion of both, in one setting, like a Somali community center where they taught the Deen and the Somali, the Dhaka and the Afghan, stuff like that. That's why that's very important.
Brilliant. I mean, you've got a whole day on a Saturday. You could divide it up easily.
Yeah. Do Quran Islamic classes in the early half of the day, and then the second half, teach the Deen, teach the Dhaka or the Afghan, the dances, stuff like that.
And then sport at the end of the day.
Exactly.
But then again, doesn't that cause a confusion? Because you've already got the Malawad, you've got the Tuksi for that. Shouldn't there be a specific place where we concentrate on culture, language, employment, healthcare? Do you get where I'm coming from?
I think it's still possible.
I
think it's still possible for you to have all in one. Basically.
All in one. Yeah, I want to see all in one. I feel like if we do all in one, are we taking the Duxi experience away from the Duxis? But we could, all right, Duxis and Malawards, you handle that. If they handle that, and where there's organizations where handle like legality issues, where we handle healthcare, like employment, housing issues, where we translate, where it's just simply your day-to-day sort of activities where Somalis actually struggle. Because at the end of the day, I had a friend of mine, he's roughly my age, وحاكوا يردع في عكتا كتشبتي. He's like, Khalid, I don't know how to fill out disability and all of these forms. I'm like, well, Mr. Chibata, can't you read? He's like, yeah, but it's just filling out forms. Like, we've got that in our community where grown-ass men have never, certain ages that are, first generation. For how, I mean, sorry.
Now, to be fair, he is first generation, so maybe how to what to get him out. Oh, how long is he in the country?
No, he's been here for the same time as us three on the panel has. Like, good 20 years. Yeah, but there is brothers and sisters, literally. If you tell them form can be your hag and toggle, do this or do that self, like, now I'm hitting the block. After a little while, it's like, all I know is the block. This is a problem that some of our brothers do face. Like, what do you mean? Khalid, all I've been is on the block. All I know is the block. All I know is the streets. I can't feel like this. I can't go there. And you think to yourself, why not? What is stopping? What is this mental block? And then that's what I have to go ahead.
There's actually a specific way to fill out those forms. I know it sounds like you just like whack it out. It's actually like a way of doing it. Otherwise, nobody reads it. It's just put to a side. You've got to have keywords, key phrases, things that. So you need the community help. If you think you've never filled it out before, I would always say to somebody, it doesn't matter. Just go into one of those community places and say, what day do you do the advice and information and get it filled out? Because the chances are school education missed them. We have an attainment problem at our schools for our young boys. So the chances are he got missed out. He could have, learning difficulties and things. And there's a lot of people in that position that I've found.
Yes, I found a good study with a lot of the highest excluded minority groups are Irish, Jamaicans, and Somalis, males in schools, So if you look at, especially per se, let's take it home, Somali boys. Do you feel like maybe some of the education is not catered for them, where a place could actually come in and identify, okay, this brother or sister is struggling this, the ones, in an environment where they could actually learn to thrive and prosper for themselves? Because not all education, this whole one glove fits all, it does not work. So I'll be looking at Elon Musk here. Elon Musk is trying to rewrite, schooling, education in a whole different light where, and it's actually proving results, where kids from all backgrounds, all equally, and they've changed up education. And I was like, why can't we implement that in the Somali community?
Yeah, well, in terms of actually changing the education towards gearing towards Black children altogether, there's people working on that. It's really, really difficult. It's more difficult than you would think. You think it's common sense, of course, bringing a bit of their culture. If a Black boy, the only thing he's hearing about past is slavery, it's not inspiring. It doesn't, it's like slavery started. Black people started at slavery. That's the biggest problem that we, that I think we face. And then we go from there.
Sis, at the age of 30, I found out about Ajuran, that empire. Imagine this. When I was in school as well, like I'm like, the only thing I'm learning is Atlantic slave, and I'm like, me and a Congolese boy used to be like, well, that's not really. The teacher used to just look at us like, well, I don't know what else, because we're covered Adana. She's looking at, well, I don't know, you don't know, and this go on, man.
It's exactly the same thing for me. I only learned about Ajuran, Adil, so many other sultans.
So many, Arwela, all of this, recently. Recently going through YouTube and all this, and actually, Ahmed Gure, I used to never know these guys, and then I'm not being taught this as well. I'm not being taught this. So sis, imagine this, when I get to this age, and I'm thinking, well, hang on a minute, all of this history, how comes I wasn't taught? Imagine I was taught this when I was young. You have some type of self-pride in you.
Yeah.
I'm coming from. They used to travel to China, the fifth, like Saeed Mogadishu. Who knew about him? He went to the 5th dynasty in China. And I was thinking, my mom was traveling at that time on this Somali bar.
We even had Somali kings ruling parts of Sri Lanka and the Maldives.
Thank you. Recently, who was it? Yes, I found out yesterday. I had to look at it. I had to research it yesterday.
Somalis brought Islam to the Maldives and Sri Lanka.
Thank you. And I was thinking to myself, well, imagine Iyal don't know none of this. We at this age are finding out.
How about this? It even gets better. You know the country of Madagascar?
Yeah.
The Portuguese, when they got to Madagascar, they actually wanted to go to Mogadishu. But something happened on their maps, or was it a storm or something? That they landed on this island, and they just called it Madagascar, which is a Portuguese style version of Mogadishu.
Oh, see, and even Mogadishu, I'm hearing it's a whole different name. Yesterday, even big up Puntai. When she came through yesterday, she was like, I don't even want to label as Somali, so it's a European construct name. European name, so I was thinking, ooh.
That's going a bit too far right there.
That's going too far, but then when do we stop? If we go through the rabbit hole and then we find out the ancient Egyptians put land of Punt Bay, we knew to Kenchi, then we knew Imunchi, then it begs you to think.
Imagine
if
we had a like Somali school sort of thing at weekends, and you taught these out of control Somali kids who don't know what the hell they are, Arab, Malo, what are they Martians or what? Imagine if we taught them, you guys, 500 years ago were fighting and defeated the Portuguese, who were one of the most powerful countries in the world, had the empire from Brazil to the Philippines, to Indonesia. You guys defeated them in battle. You even had naval battles where you won. You kicked them out of Wadankada, kicked them out all the way down to Kenya. You kicked them out of there.
What does that do? That gives you, what's it called? Self-confidence. Well, that gives you pride. Like in Greece, when they teach you world history, rule Britannia, you know what? And they told you, but that 80% of the World Bank up. So it gives these people self-confidence.
Exactly.
So it breathes it into you. But if you just keep thinking refugee camps, said every time you see an image of a Wadanki, it gives you subliminally. I think to myself, subliminally, that can have some psychological disattachment to Somalia. I don't know what it is. And then you've got other cultures that some people just look up to. Go ahead, Mona, come through.
No, you're right. Everything you're saying really is true. It's so true. It's so important to emphasize that. But we need to do that through our communities, lobby our MPs and people that, I know it sounds mundane, but we need to just start basic from that, just to say, look, our children need to know about where they're from, and also role models. You guys were speaking about earlier on. That's really, really important, especially for young boys in this country. There was some research that they found that role models were more important in a certain age group than anything else. And seeing positive role male models, for the young black males was really important.
Do you think that's prevalent for us young Somali brothers out there? Do you think they need positive role models where maybe Arba's not at home, maybe Arba, especially even in the younger ages, with the divorce rate as well, where maybe they need a place where, I don't know, is it called Big Brother programs or is it buddy programs? I don't know where it is, where older brother comes in, or
my brother's
mentors. My brother's keeper or something like that. I don't know what they call it. Something where, if a lot of brothers have got spare times on the weekends, could just come through, chat to them, say,
that would be a brilliant idea, Khalid. That would be
mentoring schemes are running already, and
I know.
Most sort of educational establishments have a unit that kind of deals with that. So it's about people making themselves available most of the time. You'd be surprised, to come in and speak to the children. And just to share an experience, a positive one about you. I mean, that will help. So
I think it will help. Because you know what it is. You see men. It's either two ways. You see, it's either you're gonna look for a positive role model or you're gonna look for a negative role model. That's for men. That's all men. Especially when you're growing up, you're always gonna look up to someone like, oh, cool, I want to be like him one day, innit? Yeah. So it's either you meet a positive one or you meet a negative one. And that's why we got to steer our, especially the boys. We got to make sure this, the degenerate culture, like where I want to be a rapper, I want to be a trapper, I want to be a fraudster. That needs to get out of our mentality. Even some of the hablo at this age are like, what are you trapping or you're frauds? You have to look at certain people like, what? How old are you?
I think that like the identity, not having one, isn't it? And then trying to find one that you can connect to, a culture that feels for you, it's fresh, it's new, it's happening, where they feel more connected to that. So we can't really chastise them for that and be like, oh no, you need to get into something else. We really need to appreciate the creative sort of roles and creative, children that we have as well. We can't just kind of shut them out of that, because there are a lot of ways that we can nurture that while sticking to our belief. There are many ways of doing that. It's done.
It is. That's true because there's a saying. I think Marcus Garvey said it the best. He goes, a person without culture is like a tree without roots.
Yeah.
And I think our roots really are truthfully. Well, I don't know whether I don't know if being first generation refugee. Well, I always look back at this war. Well, this dispersal. It's got a big effect that I think we're not realizing, and we're just about realizing. Do you get where I'm coming from, sis?
Yeah,
We're just
I
thinking,
do.
shit, it's
We'll just,
if we don't really think about it and get our heads down and look at these situations, like
yeah,
we're educated, we've got brilliant
exactly.
brothers and sisters all over every field.
Exactly. I
But
agree with all that. And earlier,
there's
I remember, is it
go
Ahmed
ahead.
that was saying about the mothers failing? Some mothers were failing us because obviously they wasn't, doing what they were supposed to do for us to
Mm,
thrive. But you have to remember the mums and dads that were here before the war. They were doing really well. They were making sure that their children knew the language and they were, attaining at school. But
yes.
when the people came in with the war, because I remember it happening, they're all coming in. They had a
Mm-hmm.
lot of stresses. They had postnatal depression. They had the language, the
Mm-hmm.
culture. Everything was new to them. A lot of them were struggling, and it was
Mm,
just as well they kept it together. A lot of them. So I think we expecting
that's
too
it.
much from them women from them
That,
time because
that's what it is. Well,
it was
sis, this is
so struggling. Yeah,
Muna, this is why I always say, let's not blame our parents because what you gotta remember, I looked at my uncle, a couple of my uncles, they were seamen,
yeah,
and I remember them like when we first come, they like of Somali were Quadli and they had their duck on, them ones. They were all
yeah,
in Cardiff. They were literally born here, yeah.
yeah,
Every single one of them had their sort of thing, but it was us that came as the second generation refugee, like wave of us. Like
yeah,
you're saying, the Galban Kutimane, we wasn't expecting it. It was all rush, 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 and then forced
yeah,
adaptation
yeah.
where some of it became positive, some of it in Wallah we see it's driving. Wallahi, I don't know
We
what
have
it's
to
doing.
adapt. We have to adapt. We don't have to lose our culture. What we do is we keep the good parts of our culture that we're happy to keep. You know what I mean? We're happy with that.
Mm,
With our weddings and our certain clothes, and we have to get rid of bad cultural practices as well. We have to be
mm,
ready to rot them like a stone.
mm,
We're already doing it. So it's something that we need to focus on consciously as
mm,
a community. Be like, look,
mm.
we have to have a reassessment.
I
Like we
know.
have to drive.
But sis, again, you know what? I had this conversation last night and this week, yeah, this buzzword. Like literally, I've had this conversation with 4 different girls. Arab culture. What is the Arab thing for women? Why do women say we need? When it's prevalent with women, Arab, this Arab culture. Well, and I was looking at a couple of sisters,
Uh,
3 different sisters, different age groups, different periods of their lives, and they all kept saying this buzzword, Arab. And with me, well, I always look at someone's buzzword, what keeps coming out of their mouth,
yeah,
in it, yeah.
Mm.
yeah.
When I'm speaking to Habla, especially Habla and Somalia, what is this thing that you don't want to get rid of that you don't say is part of Arab culture? What is it? Something that I don't really understand. I want to fathom that.
So for me, the Arab culture will be pretty much. I mean,
Mm,
growing up in this country, a lot of the things was Arab. I think it was the fear of the unknown. So it was
mhm,
almost like it was just easier for a parent to say, "Mimi wa Arab wa hasi," without addressing it. So that's what they're
mm,
trying to assume and say is they've grown
mm,
up with a sense of shame coming from
mm,
a lot of the things that were meant to be Arab that now they're
mm,
integrated in or whatever. I don't know. I think it's just an inner sense that you
mm,
always feel like, oh, you know, I should know better because we were raised with
mhm,
so much
mhm,
everything. It's just
mhm.
overused, if you like, in terms of it's
Yeah.
almost like saying, I don't understand that, so what nigga da.
But
Don't
Arab,
know.
nigga,
Ah,
that.
nigga da. Let's
Yeah.
not go there almost. I don't know if it's a put down all the time from the
Yeah.
parents as the children take it, because for
Mm,
us, ebb is a big word.
mhm.
Yeah, and
Shame.
we're still having it shame. It's a shame. It's a sense of,
It's a
oh,
shame.
colored hard. It's not right, so it must be colored, isn't it? So, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? But then you see 2-year-olds and they'll be like, ebb, because, the parents will literally be using it so early. And like, oh my gosh, little Baba. It's just about
What?
learn how to say Toya and Mama, Baba. And then it's
Uh,
Eb as well because
Eb,
it's, like, don't touch that. But I'm not going to say, oh,
Eb,
Eb. Yeah,
Eb,
yeah,
Eb. What has منه Eb? What has منه Eb?
You see what
yeah,
it
So
is.
we
What it is, Khalid. You see
got yeah.
what I've noticed is a lot of these people who the 3 chicks you mentioned that are always bringing out that buzzword wanted to talk about you know you know airing the dirty laundry, so to speak. What I've noticed about them is they wear their trauma or what happened in their lives or what's going on, the negatives of being Somali. They're like almost as if it's a personality trait. Like you see a lot of these FGM girls, advocates, anti-advocates. Like again, FGM is a horrible practice. I'm not for it whatsoever. But a lot of these women, unfortunately, they wear it like it's a personality trait. FGM, it's happened to me. They're just endlessly.
No, but then again, but Arman, this is the thing. That is a horrific experience. And you know what, I have to, you know what, yeah, because recently, especially on these YouTube streams, a lot of Somali sisters were getting a lot of backlash in it, yeah. But our Somali sisters, they actually took this battle to the forefront. Do you know there's about 30 million people or 30 million women around the world that suffer from FGM? But there's not 30 million Somali women, and Somali women are at the front line of championing this. So where some girls, for me, that's normal, but some girls are using this to, I don't know whether to gain fame, I don't know whether it is where it's, okay, cool, sis, you're championing it, you're trying to get rid of it. In Somaliland, Somalia, Puntland, a lot of places have actually made legislations to ban it. They put in the constitution. We've actually took strives to get this culture out of our system.
The rates of FGM has gone.
Because people are being more educated, because once we realize it's haram, it's not part of the Dakan, it's a Fir'auni Dakan. Yes, and then, no, but then again, so Armin, you know, sometimes I feel like it's luxury where certain men go, hey, look what you forget, certain girls got tied down, brutally put down on the floor, not in a healthy way, and sometimes in a barbaric way. So we have to empathize sometimes.
But then you guys need to understand one thing: it's women that are doing that, not the women, not even Somali men.
But who they doing it for? To please? Because listen to this here. At the end of the day, Nika, dude, you know, if the thing ain't right, Nika's gonna be like Allah straight away, not rare. So at the same time, men play a big part of this.
You know what? Even the whole concept of cutting, playing around with the girl's private part to ensure that she doesn't do any filth outside of marriage or before she gets married. Even the whole logic, it doesn't make sense, because what's to stop herself? There's other ways, you can go about having sex or going and doing that sort of thing without it being the usual number. You know what I'm talking about. Well, I don't say it.
But
so even the whole concept, they don't make sense to me. It's just like,
for me, no, but look, at the end of the day, it's a barbaric tradition that we had. It's part of our culture. It's a dark, like Muna said, there's good parts of the Dakan and there's extremely filthy parts of the Dakan we need to tackle and get rid of.
We need to do it.
Maybe this is the problem with some of the sisters are getting it twisted. That is Arab. For me, this is an Arab shame culture that we do need to speak about. But for me to say, I want to air out my dirty laundries, I want to be free, I want to make excuses to live a haram lifestyle. Now, wallah, that's a problem that I don't agree with. I will stick it on any girl. But if it's mental health, if it's sexual assault, if it's things I believe.
There's another. Sorry, I just wanted to say quickly. I think it would help to know that in fact a lot of the women that made sure that their girls got this done to them, they had it done to them, and it was passed on to them. And I don't know if it was so much of the men influence. I don't know about that, but I know women were influenced by each other, because it was like
other women.
Other women, to be honest. No, but, doesn't your daughter have it? Well, that's a shame. So there's the Arab again, you see.
It's keeping up the Hirsi. Keeping up the Hirsi syndrome.
Yes, keeping up with the. But also, in terms of these girls who are airing out their thing, I don't know if that's the way that you should do it, but I do know that there's levels of it. So, they have to accept what happened to them. They have to, it would help if they spoke to their parents, because it might they might realize that their parents were not educated on this. They were very ignorant on it, and they didn't realize that what was happening because it was done to them. They were victims, So if they speak to their parents, actually, they might look at this whole different and stop focusing so much on, it's affected. Well, it happened to your mum too, but I'm sure if you speak to her now, that she understands it from even her own friends, that it was a wrong practice to follow. You're the boy who could tell the kid, because I'm sure your mum would say, "I'm sorry, mum." you know, as I've encouraged a few people to do, and that was quite calming for them to know. Then that might be helpful as a healing.
That's as a healing process. Yes, you're right. You're right, sis. I'm not gonna lie to you. You are right, but for me, it's a thing where we as a community really sometimes need to tread sensitively, especially from the male perspective. Because it's always easy to dismiss some of the sisters. Well, I ain't kind of mourning, you're doing this, but some of the things are traumatic. Imagine the trauma.
No. Talking about that, you know, the dangers and the filth and disgustingness of FGM. That's not Ebb in my books. But you know what is Ebb that no one talks about? All these Somali girl YouTubers talking about their divorce and their failed marriages. Now that's Ebb. You get me?
Now for me, look,
right, there's Ebb culture.
But there's another. There's a devil's advocate to that. There is a devil advocate for that. Is okay. I've seen some of them. I've watched some of the videos. Some of the videos are just, I don't know, a bit for me, a bit too much in it. Well, at the end of the
keeping your business to yourself.
Yes, there's a bit of that. You know, Arab Tada, you know, story. But some of the things, maybe say if one of the sisters did go through a traumatic gurwa, which was they find this letting it out in front of YouTube as therapy or color. Maybe that's their therapy or color.
No,
so can we dismiss that?
I'm afraid that this is where I'm gonna have to disagree with you, bro. Because the reason is because look, those marriages a lot of the time, you know, there's children involved. You get it. When these kids grow up, they're gonna be like, hey, what the hell? Well, here is my whore. You're blaring out my, you know, our family secrets out for the whole world to see. You got it. And the kid will just grow up hating his mom or grow up hating his apple.
No. That is a flip side. There is a flip side to that. There is, especially if there's kids involved here. I think some of the sisters actually do need to realize, okay, this video that you're gonna put up, it's gonna be there forever.
Exactly.
Some people think, oh, I'm gonna put it up or I can put it on private.
It will stay on there. There's no way. That's it. And if you put something on the internet, a picture, a video, you name it, that's it.
It goes up.
You can delete it off YouTube, but it's still gonna be there. You know?
Yeah, this is part of parcel of sometimes some, but this is the thing some people don't understand. Like, I had a go at one woman and she was literally bashing Somali men all the time. And some of the things that some content creators don't understand is, you know, even me, it took me a long while when I'm creating content and I'm doing streams. Like, some of the stuff does have ramifications later on. You might not see it now, but there might be an age where you might just regret it. Do you get what I'm coming from? There might be a couple of years down the line where, you know what, I kind of regret what I put it out there. I kind of, like, for me, like, there's some videos I wish I could take them down there on other channels.
Like
but you know what?
Even like these whole gender wars thing between Faras and Halimos nowadays just gets to the point where you're like, hang on. But I'll be honest with you, there are real life people out there on the streets, Somali boys that actually do hate Somali women and Somali women that actually do despise Somali men. So on the street, do you think
that's hatred? Do you think that's a past experience hatred where someone did something to them, and which way they get a hate from? Like this brother, AFS said, Somali should have an unspoken code of conduct.
Good luck with that, bruv.
But I think isn't that part of the Arab culture? Muna, this is the thing that we're trying to. This is the thing that we're trying to fight against. This is the thing that we're trying to highlight. This whole conversation is about tonight.
You know what it is? What it is? I'll tell you what though. When it comes to like, listen. I've once I dated this Somali girl, and first date, literally the first morning we went out. Like she just blew it out to me. Somali men are this, Somali men are that, Somali men are this. And I'm like, yo, you do know sat across the table from you is a Somali man. Like trying to paint her deadbeat dad like that I'm him, like essentially. Like see you later.
No, but the thing is, but that's again, this is what I say. Being a good, crucial father is a key. Maybe she never had that positive father role where. And every guy that she's dated or she's been around has been a deadbeat. Maybe she's attracted to people like that. Maybe that sister needs to do some reflection on herself. That's what it is. And maybe again, like me and Muna, and we discussed Arman earlier, childhood trauma. Like we've seen individuals, you know, like Senorita, we see how the way he talks in it, like childhood trauma. Maybe sometimes the sisters do have childhood trauma. You know, you get what I'm coming from, isn't it? Yeah, the childhood trauma. You know, you understand what I'm coming from. So maybe sometimes it's tougher for a female. But then again, we gotta forget females are complicated. Mona will say as well, innit? So why it's different. It's different. So her childhood trauma and her daddy maybe not being around, or maybe not seeing a positive role model male figure up to you, or older person, affects them. It affects the Dumurka differently. Do you get where I'm coming from? It affects
and it
girls.
affects, and it affects every individual differently, not even the girls. Every person, every human experience is gonna come away with something different. But I think it's important that people are addressing it in whichever way, you know, it's hard to.
But there's right ways of addressing it, but sometimes, you know, some people might not know, and they might, like I say, YouTube might be therapy for someone. Maybe that's a release where they just jump in front of the camera, lay it out, let them share their experience with the world. Because you never know. Maybe there might be a sister going through the same thing where her man might be, you know, Dilia,
But I'll be honest with you, Khalid, I've seen a lot of them types of videos, and I'll be honest with you, it seems like them girls are not after therapy. They're just after views and clicks and likes.
views and clicks. Yeah, there is that other aspect. I'm not gonna lie to you. Certain individuals made it famous and they've got the lifestyle that they want. But after a little while, where does this lifestyle get you? Because you're all you're gonna be known is the divorce girl story. Oh, you're that girl that did the divorce girl. Like, it's gonna hurt you at the end of the day. You're gonna try to create different type of content, but you're mainly gonna be like divorce story guy.
Yeah, the fact that do they have a lot of followers? These or do they have lots of
Sister, I'm not gonna lie to you. A lot of views. Some of them. Now, well, I say I'm not gonna lie. One sister set the trend. She just killed it, and then all of a sudden, you know, it's like opening Pandora's box. This one came out, but there was one called Naima K. I'm not gonna lie to you. This is the one that kind of got on my nerves a little bit. Yeah, the sister mid ajnabi ba inat suhmukala or sihr kusameye. If you look in the comment section, all of this conversation, La ilaha illallah, Somali men, Somali men, Somali. I'm like, from the beginning, that's when I had to realize, whoa, like, but the gender war thing online, I think it is being perpetuated online even worse. I think in real life, it's not like that.
Twitter, TikTok, you name it. Like, honestly, Somali should be banned off the internet if you ask me. Seriously. Like, seriously, like in Clubhouse, the Somalis on Clubhouse, you know what they did? They raided a room full of just Japanese people talking Skushak and Smack. Like, I was like, how could it be Japanese come skin yasha?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna lie to you. I had a couple of people on Clubhouse. Literally, they reached out to me. I tried to work with them, but I realized I'm on a whole different platform. This is YouTube. Like Clubhouse, there's a lot of rules, and I'm like us. I think me and Mona were on Android, innit? So it hasn't even reached us yet, innit? Yeah. So I try to explain to them, I'm not really one Yahweh. There's rules. You get kicked out for not saying this, that. Look, there's benefits to it. Like I say to a lot of people, if you're going online, what is your main purpose of going online? If you're going to be internet, I'm going to be famous, go for it. Like, do what you're doing, but there is repercussions. One day you're going to regret something.
You see this gender wars online. Like you raised a good point earlier. You said it's mostly online. Same here. I've never seen it in real life on the street. Like, you know, you see groups of Somali girls, groups of Somali boys hanging out together on shisha spots. Go to Park Royal, bro. You get me? End of story, bro. But
but then again, I'll tell you the truth. Yeah, there's. I found out when was it recently? A group incels and feminine males that incels, M-cells and femcells, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
And they just sit behind online. They haven't got like we gotta remember. Us three, we were the last generations to actually grow up. Had to meet friends. We grew up before social media, innit?
Oh, yeah.
So we actually had to go make friends. Now, with me, like sometimes some of the panelists here, like I had to explain to them, well, I'm not your friend. So there's a boundary. YouTube is YouTube Khalid. When I'm on the streams, Somali speaker, but when I'm in other places, I'm Khalid. No, you're Somali. Even the other day, you're Somali. I'm like, no. There's a difference. So I clocked some of the young generations. Some of the young generation, they grew up online. This is their world. Literally, if you pick them up, take them away from the computer, you throw them in a real life environment, they don't know how to. They don't know how to survive.
They can't hold a conversation. They literally cannot hold a conversation.
They're not interested. There's certain people, I'm not gonna lie to you, apart from online, really, truthfully, you ain't interesting. Like I wouldn't listen to you. I'm not gonna lie to you. So it makes me think. this generation, well, like I don't know, is it Generation Z? What they call it?
They
Z.
call it, yeah, Gen Z. Yeah.
Gen Z, yeah, basically. They're gonna suffer a lot because we gotta remember they ain't got no social skills. They don't know how to react. Everything if you take them out, if you put them in awkward sociable events or they don't know how to react. Like if you told someone all your life you're good, laptop no for a long time, you just in real life, really, you can't really do that in real life. Real life, you get your jaw spun. You actually get attacked out here. So for me, we have to realize there is a whole new, maybe us the elders need to realize there's a whole new generation of people, and there's new ways of communicating, there's new ways of understanding. Like some people just get texted. So one person got pissed off. I got kicked out of one whole group because I said I don't care about this. I thought it was YouTube, innit? Like you're allowed to express your opinion. Like no. So it's under 25s, like I said, well, Muna and Arman, under 25s, they're a very special case of I don't know how to deal with them.
Yeah. This is why I think it goes back to the mentorship. You know, we need an older gen like us, the millennials, mentoring these Gen Z lot, teach them how to talk to people.
But then again, if they've got everything access on Google, because I'm not gonna lie to you, you see this is made everyone like there's no need to go to, like I said, there's no need for chamad no more. Everyone's on the same level. You just Google what you gotta Google in it, yeah. That's the problem. I think the problem with generation, they're knowledgeable, but they don't have no life experience. None of them have life experience, and their life experience is this. And you put them in a real life scenario, none of them any of them know how to survive.
This is why probably industries like construction and manufacturing will just go down. Will be replaced by robots because these lot, good luck getting them at 10, 12 hours standing, on an assembly line, putting together a car.
They're not ready for that. Like you see my Bengali neighbors, yeah. I was chatting to them recently. He goes, yeah, by the age of 16, as soon as our national insurance number was every single one of them started working. And I got 30-year-olds of Somalia that's like in and around my generation. To this day, they can't even fill out forms.
Yeah, I have to admit, I'm from that family that I had to go to work at 16.
You had to go to work at the age of 6. As soon as your national insurance number, you're paying bills. Same here.
To be honest, it was pride. It gave me pride to think that I can contribute towards my mum. She's done so much, and it was good to think that I could give back to the family. I couldn't wait to do it.
Yeah, the kids nowadays do not like to work.
They're not gonna work, man. Especially around time. One time I had an argument with one of the brothers on the roads, innit? Yeah, he's like, "Hey, why am I gonna work till 9 to 5 when I could do this? The money you're making in a week, I can make it in a day. But I got what a scar about Chibinio, Habsi, 18 months, 3 years, then you come back out, you're unlicensed, then 18 months again. By the time you've opened your eyes, you're in your mid-30s, midlife crisis. But and what happens midlife crisis? Like you ain't got no tangible skills. You ain't got no work experience, and then the other day one you're 17 card, then you see the man that's 30. You're on the same. You're sitting on the same block as a 17-year-old. You're hustling the same £10 whatever you've been. I don't know what you've been. So like, where does the mirka? Where does your demir come in?
That's it.
Yeah.
When does it? When does it? Like it's just.
When does it kick in?
I think it is the culture, and what we were talking about is missing. If just the thing we were saying earlier that let's just say our parents let us down. Well, we're letting this generation down badly. Then, if that's the case, then we have less excuses than our parents. If you like,
we do. I like this. Think about it. We have simulated. No one could tell us nothing about Ingriska.
Yep.
But what have we become? We've become a disorganized. Well, no, it's not even disorganized. It's we're not. I don't know whether
we're a dishevelled majority. So we're not organized. We're not.
Yeah. We haven't been taught like that. There's no community spirit. There's none of this where there's organization.
Confused in our own corner. We're all thinking the same thing. We're all hoping for the same thing. We're just finding for that spark, you know, when we do what we can here and there, but it has to be a wider thing and we can't stop. And also it's making me think, you know, we have all these women coming on talking about their divorces. What do we have available for youngsters to engage with that's about our culture and our heritage and our customs? And, you know, what is, because that doesn't just speak for Somali, because we know they're not going to tune into that because they don't understand what it is. So maybe programming specifically for the generation we're trying to get to as well. As solutions or way to go forward in connecting with them, you know.
Someone just sent me, all right, you know, I have to put this up here. So thank you for the it's calling Palestinian Muslim propaganda or causing you know what, brother? We're not really, why so religious? It's not that type of show, G. I'm not gonna lie to you. You need to go to the other Somali, bro. I don't know, man. I'm not. Look, listen. No one here is a scholar. I don't know, man. I don't know. This is what I don't like to see. You know, sorry. I appreciate the donation, but the Speaker's Corner crowd is a bit crazy. Not everything's about religion, you know. 9 out of 10 of my videos. Well, I don't know. We're cool, Hashem, but Hashem, I need to stop recording that place. You know that.
Well, judging by his name, you know what brigade he belongs to, don't you?
Yeah, he belongs to the Atheist Brigade.
Yeah.
Why so religious? So it's like, brother, if you're interested in Islam, why don't you go to actually learn for yourself? Like, there's one. Do you know? I don't understand. You see these panelists here. Why are you searching for Islam from people that? There's 100 million YouTube channels. There's literally 1 million da'wah channels on YouTube. I looked at it the other day. Yeah.
If you guys want to learn about Islam, look up Yasser Qadhi. Sheikh Yasser Qadhi. You know about Yasser Qadhi, don't you?
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know.
I judge it based on his seerah of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam.
Yeah, but he said there's holes in the narrative. So this is what I'm saying. These da'wah for scholar guys are crazy as well. This is a whole nother thing as well. Yesterday we were talking about this. Yeah.
I think he's good.
What do you guys think about the arabization? A lot of people are complaining about this now. Mona, what's your thoughts on it? Because the sister was complaining about it yesterday. She's like, sister, what's her name? Punta. She came with some fire points last night. No, big up that sister.
Double-edged sword.
Double-edged sword.
Yeah, but I'll let Muna go first.
I mean, I agree with a lot of the points that was being said last night as well. I was listening for parts of it. But yeah, Arabization, we do. I just feel like it dominates our culture now, tradition, you know, as Somali. I don't know if that was by accident. I can't quite work out if it was like you know, a well thought out thing that's happening, or if we just fell into it accidentally because of all, you know, because apparently things were different before the time that, you know, we weren't so influenced by, you know, our leaders were more worldly, if you like, looked out into the world and our interests more. So something happened now where, regardless of what these people do, we support them. I'm not sure if we get the same support back if I'm being honest with you. I don't think we get the same support, the same love. I mean, there was, listen, I went to university in this country. I had Free Palestine. I went, you know, I was well involved in when I was at uni, to be honest, and thought that they needed to fight for their rights. But the more we nowadays, the more I'm thinking to myself, okay, but Somali, Sodonyo, Palestinians. I was like, I know, but the week before 40 something, Somali side, nobody was really trying to protest against that or say, oh, please guys, we need to stop or turn on each other. There was nothing that I could say, oh my gosh, okay, that's what I'm talking about. We're the team. So I feel like we can't step up for other people before we step up for ourselves. It doesn't make sense. Are you going to help your own family before you help the family across the road? Or it's just common sense. Arab, if it's not in our interest, then we need to like do what's in our interest.
And we need to separate, what's it called? Arabization. What's it called? Islam. This is the problem I think a lot of people are having nowadays, isn't it? Yeah. Where the culture, we just like separate. If it's not from the Sunnah or the Hadith, and I'm not right. Hashim, Mecca, Medina, and the Masajid al-Qudus. Apart from that, wallah, this is a humanitarian crisis. And this is what a lot of people say. I think someone pointed out to me, like, I think 15 to 20% of Palestinians also are Christian, Jewish, but Kuchira. Do you get where I'm coming from? They're not getting the same uproar from the Christian community.
Yeah.
So look, I feel it. Don't get twisted. What I'm seeing, is I'm seeing ethnic cleansing. It's disgusting. It hurts me. But like I said, Muna and Arman, I've sat here, spoke about 36 bombings. I've literally went when I even say a date that no one remembers, the 28th of October 2019, 500 Somali kids by Halma.
2017, bro, correct?
Was it? No, it's 2019, man. I was in Hyde Park.
2017, brother. 2017.
Are you sure?
Yes, bro. 110%. Yes.
Okay, recently I spoke about it, but 500 kids by Halmar Lidile or Somalia, or like, when are we gonna start? Like, will the Somali lives actually matter to us? Do you get where I'm coming from? That's the
like
thing.
with that, I think Somalis are like, you know what? As long as it's not my qabil, my business, which is so sad, but that's literally what it is. That's literally what it is. And it's like, you know, it's like if it didn't happen in my toilet, it just happened in Hamar. Okay, again, it's not my problem, you know, which is sad, but that's how some people would think, you know. Just like if there was a bombing in, I don't know, Bosas or Kismayo, I'm sure other Somalis in other parts of Somalia be like, yeah, it's not my problem, not my business.
Now then, okay, so that gives me two questions. That gives me two questions for you. Do we care about each other? Does Somali lives matter, or are we so synonymous to violence where we
care about each other, but only our fellow clanmen? That's it. Which is sad way of saying.
I don't think so, man. I don't think the new generation. Go ahead, Mona. Come through, Walla.
No, I was just saying, like, Somalidu, they're so funny to me. Beerka xanuunaya, beerka xanuunaya, oo beerkaagu ma blaadiig baa markaanu dadkaaga u damqanayn. Like,
thank you.
What kind of bed is this? Maanta
Thank you.
all of a sudden, what Palestine can die, which obviously we all care about. You know, we all don't want any of that to happen. But you're right, because when the Black Lives Matter, probably the same people that were saying, and it's must not, you know, let's worry about our own problem. So that kind of parallel thing as well.
No, the problem is though, see all these now, you've got this whole Palestine Gaza things going on, you know, all these people criticizing Somalis that are literally, you say, you know, that have a Twitter handle, Free Palestine, or getting triggered that. Usually when this whole Palestine thing is not going on, they don't give 2 cents about Somalia. Like, they don't do fuck all for Somalia. Pardon my language, but they don't do it themselves. They don't organize fundraising, you know, to build a hospital or to community relief or to all these famines that ravage Somalia. They're just like, no, my problem, I'm in the West. But as soon as some little problem happens in Palestine and you get 1 or 2 Somalis on Twitter saying Free Palestine, they get triggered and pull out the Somali card then, that their nationalist card then. You know, that's the double-edged sword that I'm talking about, you know. But definitely, we need to fix our own house before we start wanting to, you know, save another man. You know, as the saying goes, charity starts at home. You know, charity definitely starts at home. So we've got more than enough problems of our own.
Sheena said, we do not hate, cause hates division around. We're not hating. Like, what is a lot of us right now? This generation, I think, first generation refugee. We're tired of being refugees. That's what it is. It's not even hating. It's just, I feel like we're tired. Do you get where I'm coming from? We're tired of being refugees. We're tired of Somalia, like, you know, the most corrupt nation in Africa, the most impoverished nation, and we see the potential of a united horn of Africa, whatever you want to call it, thriving. I see it. I don't know whether it's in my lifetime. I feel like, you know, the amount of abundance of resources, the landmass that we have, the geographical location that we're at, all of that. I feel like it's only a matter of time, and I feel like Aqli Humanten is stopping us from caring for each other. You know them ones, and for fixing back up.
Speaking of caring for each other, look at this comment that this guy made, Ducky Momo. He goes, I've seen some Somali girls make janaza for George Floyd, but when it was a Somali Australian brother that died by the hands of the police, they were nowhere to be seen. Bro, please put that up for people to see. That is so true. That just goes to show it that.
No, but that's Somali brother.
Okay. For George Floyd,
no, but there's a difference between that brother. Yeah, that brother actually committed some heinous crimes, and he killed 2 elderly couple. He did madnesses. He's on the middle of the road, Midibu tag in Yahai. There's a big difference with what that brother did.
There's other Somalis who have been innocent, who have been one recently now
Yeah,
in
yeah.
Ohio. Ohio just this weekend or this week was killed by police in Ohio. The innocent Somali. Where are these BLM Somalis at? Again.
That's true. No, but BLM only cares. I've clocked BLM only cares, yeah, when a black person dies on the hands of a white person. That's when BLM is outraged. BLM, you'll never catch them on black violence. They will not speak about that. They won't speak about certain things. They're another group of agents or division as well. Sorry, we've got this Why So Religious in the chat. Hello.
Yeah, sorry, I'm turning down my TV. And
welcome to the panel.
Oh, thank you. I was asked to come on this channel a few months ago by somebody. I'm not exactly, can't really remember who it was.
But can I ask you a question? Is it Nomad? By any chance? Is the name Nomad?
Honestly, I couldn't recall. I'll be honest.
Yeah, okay.
So I've been following for a while. I watch your streams. I like the content you produce. I'm not gonna lie.
Thank you.
And the support that I gave, even it gave me a question to ask, or a statement. So I did one, and due to COVID and such like that, I've never been able to donate. But
thank you very much. I appreciate.
I started a job, so I figure I'd donate to a channel I've been watching for probably like 3 or 4 months now. So, but my question was in relation to your channel did a content day like a day or two ago about Palestine, right? And I just think that it's interesting because I know that you actually read my comment the other day, and my comment was if Jordan would have won the 1948 war, they would have took Palestine for themselves and declared it Jordan. Would it still be the concept of free Palestine? And that was something that I thought of, or because it would have been under the annexation of a Muslim country, then it wouldn't really matter. Is a question that I do tend to have towards Muslims in general, because I think that's an interesting concept. Do you think that that's an interesting concept or not at all?
Ahmad, do you want to take this one?
Yeah. Bro, you need to understand, first and foremost, right? When Muslims, under the leadership of Umar ibn Khattab, the second Caliph of Muslims, who was one of the followers of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he under his command, when the Muslims took over Jerusalem, he allowed Christians and Jews to peacefully come in and to pray and to worship. The city was just as much as theirs as it was now under Muslim rule.
But it wasn't in certain ways, right? Because there's the Uthman Pact, right? Sorry? Where there's the pact where he made it where they had to wear special clothing designing themselves as Jews or Christians. They had to pay the jizya. They had to walk. They had to cross the street when Muslims walked on the same side of the street. There are certain rules, like non-Muslims were not allowed to teach their children the Quran. There's various rules,
that rule.
That doesn't go to my question.
But your question you're asking is, would Muslims be outraged and triggered if Jordan had won the 1967 war, right? And today Jerusalem would be Muslim land, right? That's what you're asking, yeah?
Well, the whole land, in theory, would have been Muslim land, Jordanian land, because if they went with the where they say the to the spoils go the victor, right? So what do you believe is just my concept that I'm bringing up here, that this free Palestine would still be around if it was under a different Muslim control?
No, it wouldn't be because it would already
Okay.
be free. That's essentially
no-
what. No, it wouldn't be.
Well,
It would
you
be
wouldn't.
no.
s- But if it was under, let's say, Syrian control, which is majority Shia, you would say that that's probably or Iraqi control. You would probably say that it wouldn't be free because they're Shia.
Now that's the another hot potato right there. The
Yeah,
interest.
I know, but these are good conversations, right? You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah.
Like,
You know what?
I'm not
Humans,
because
bro.
I believe that Palestine deserves its own place. I believe that any country that has a population that can sustain itself deserves its own dictatorial sense in the way that they govern.
You need to understand here. Like, surprisingly enough, the Palestinians, whether it's Hamas or Fatah, are actually not against the state of Israel as an entity, as a idea.
Well, that's not really true. If you read the Hamas charter,
they
the PLO's
recognized it.
charter,
They recognized it up to the point of the 1967 borders. So the pre-1967 borders, the Palestinians do recognize it. But it's just now that the Zionists, what they want to do is take the whole of Jerusalem and make it a purely Jewish populated, Jewish controlled zone. They'll say they want a two-state solution, but let's be honest, Zionists do not want that whatsoever.
Well, I mean, in my opinion, there's a couple of problems with your statements. For one, so Hamas has stated in their charter that they got voted in on from river to sea.
Yeah. Well, now everything's
so that charter has not been thrown out. That is the elected that is the elected charter. Now, from river to sea would be the complete elimination of Israel.
Yes.
Now,
do you know why that is?
I'm okay with them having that stance. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't necessarily agree with the means that they're trying to achieve it. But what I'm saying is, if you want to have that political stance of what you call a country is from one geographical barrier to another, I get your point. But to sit there and try to deny that that Hamas has in their charter that this is their geographical barrier and that there will never be a two-state concept because they believe that one state is from one geographical barrier to another is not an honest statement.
Bro, that's true. Now Hamas, yes, definitely. But so do the Zionists as well. Zionists as well do not believe deep down that there is a two-state solution. But the thing is, Zionists are very clever.
You notice I mentioned a political party. I've mentioned a political party for a wannabe state, which I actually consider a state, but globally, there are people who say that Palestine is not a state. Now, I look at them as a state, but you say Zionist. Now, I mention a political party. I do not know of a Zionist party.
Well, when I say Zionist, I mean people like the big guy in charge now, running things, and his backers and his people. You need to
that's fine, but at least I'm using real terms that are defined throughout the world and actually have people voted on them, right? Like Hamas has been voted in by people like 10 to I think it's 12 to 15% of people voted them in. That's fine if that's what they want. It's just like if people want to vote in the Taliban inside of Afghanistan, allow them to vote them in the regions that they're allowed to vote. But do not. But you shouldn't say Zionist as this big global conspiracy, as if people really vote for a Zionist party.
Well, when they vote for the right wing party, then they are.
But you don't think that that's a fair comment at all. You don't think that that's a fair criticism at all. That you're comparing an actual political party noted throughout the world to something that in all honesty is a conspiratorial word because it's also used in other countries, right?
Zionists are real.
No, I'm saying it's conspiratorial. It's conspiratorial. It's conspiratorial.
So you're saying Zionism is not a movement?
No.
You're saying it doesn't exist.
No, I never said that. What I'm saying is the way that he's phrasing it is conspiratorial because it doesn't exist. Now, the Zionist movement concept, yes, it does exist, but it is
Are they in
not an
power?
actual. It is not a political force that can be voted on or is recognized as a central movement throughout the world that has power. Now, you can say that there are people who are Zionist, right? Who believe that essentially Israel or the Jews stake claim to a certain part of the land from this place to that place.
Why
And
I'm
that
so
they,
religious? Can I ask you a question right now? Let me ask you a question. What is your
I feel like
thoughts on?
nobody's addressed. I feel like nobody's addressed my question that yet.
We tried to address your question. Look, we're all listen. At the end of the day, peace in the Middle East, innit? That's all we're
I
trying
agree
to
with
say.
that.
Look,
I agree
we're
with
all
that.
trying to all this bloodshed, all this heinous has to stop.
Yeah.
But
Why
do you
so
think?
religious? Go on, Khalid. Answer.
Do you think one is an aggressor, and the whole world right now is watching that?
I
No
think they're
one's really
both
condemning.
aggressors. I think both sides are aggressors
That's
to a certain extent. Both sides. I believe. I believe
Sister
that
Jasmine,
to
do
a
you want to come
certain
through?
extent.
Sorry,
To a
go ahead,
certain.
sister. I think the sister
Sorry,
wanted to ask a question.
to interject, like we need to be logical here. Palestine does not have companies, big corporations that we all subconsciously support and we're not aware that we're supporting them. Palestine does not have 3.45 billion US dollars given to it. Palestine does not have 500,000 foot soldiers in the Israeli military. It does not have any of that. Palestinians
But that's
are
not true.
attacking.
It
They
is
do
true, bro.
not. They do not.
So Palestine
have any support
has had money from
whatsoever.
the U.S. So Palestine has had money, grain, wheat, various supplies, water.
I'm not talking about. I'm not talking
corn,
about everyday supplies, mate. I'm talking about military defense.
and
Palestine
okay.
only has Hamas, and the
So
reason why
notice
Hamas
if
exists
that's
is
true.
because in Gaza. Can
If
I
that's
finish, please? Can I
if
finish?
that's here's the thing. If you want to rewind what you said, you didn't say military at first. You said all the things that I just mentioned that they were not given, but they have been given it from various. Let me finish, please. From various Western nations, across the world, they have been given all of these subsidies, right? All
He's
this
getting a bit
aid.
angry, ain't he?
No. I'm just trying to talk. I only have one earpiece in because I'm watching my son, so it's hard for me to tell. I can't like when I have my headphones in.
You
I
just
can
seem a little
actually
bit flustered. That's all, bro.
when I have my headphones on, I can actually hear my voice through my interface system that's connected to my computer. But right now, I'm just speaking. But no, everything you just said. I mentioned that they have received, and then you had to go, no, I'm talking about military. True, Palestine does not have the support of the U.S. military, but that could change, right? What's one of the ways that it could change?
No.
No, you say no. What's the one of the ways it could change? It could change by Hamas changing their philosophy of river to sea. And then that would be the starting point. Now, the chance, but that won't happen because 15% of the people, obviously in that country, agree with that philosophy. So they keep voting them in, and those people who keep getting voting in are not going to change their platform because they keep getting voted in.
Hey, bro,
Now,
you go on a lot about Hamas.
Do you know why Hamas exists though? Like you never let me finish why exactly Hamas exists.
What about Fatah? This guy keeps talking about Hamas all the time. He would just control a little tiny strip called Gaza. What about?
Yeah, that's.
What
But
about
the whole
Fatah?
reason
The
why that
secular,
why
what area is causing the biggest problem? What area? What political faction is causing the biggest problem? Fatah
Israel.
Fatah is not causing.
What Israel loves to do is to stir up trouble in the West Bank, settlements, kick people out of the West Banks, evict people from their home all across the West Bank, East Jerusalem, Bethlehem, you name it. And then when the Palestinians in Gaza, who've got actual balls, fire a few rockets in return, for what's going on
Rocket.
in the West Bank. What's going on in the West Bank? And Israel's like, these rockets are killing us. Well, they're doing complete fuckery in the West Bank.
Well, okay.
That's what started this whole thing, by the way. What's going on?
Well, actually, the whole thing started with the whole thing starts back that the fact that the Ottoman Empire never allowed for a Palestinian concept. Now that's a fact.
The Ottoman Empire was a Turkish supremacy empire. That's what it was.
Now it was also Muslim, but what I'm saying here, it starts with the concept of the Ottoman Empire never declaring sections of their empire as semi-autonomous states or states that were allowed to have people go there as let's say an electorate, right? As representatives. So there was never
an absolute monarchy. That's why, bro.
So then what happens, right? They fall. They fall after World War I. And then it's given to the Western states, who the winners, the victors, the spoils go to divide up the land. Now, when they divided up the land, you notice that that there wasn't really a problem. But what happened? Hitler went to meet with the mullah of Palestine at the time, and he signed an agreement with them. And then that's true.
That's what Yahoo said as well, bro. If you're gonna come up with that, if you're gonna come up with this,
there's pictures of it.
Just one little meeting.
Hitler had his own Quran. Hitler had his own Quran. This is all
Bible as well. Yeah, the thing.
Yeah, no, I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm not disagreeing with that.
You're actually a bit nuts, bro.
But so then Hitler, so then the Nazis get defeated. The Nazis get defeated. The Nazis get defeated, and what do the powers that win do? They start dividing up the world into boundaries that they see fit. Right? That's the reason Iraq is such a huge problem, is because you have 3 different belief systems inside of one country that was designated, and then it was handed to the minority leader, right? And then that's what caused all the violence for decades.
You know what that Mufti's name was, by the way? I want to quiz you since you're so knowledgeable.
No, I don't. I can't remember his name.
Okay, so you probably know that they signed an agreement, but you can't name him. His name was.
That doesn't mean anything. That's like me saying that I know that Muhammad created a part. No, but it doesn't matter. The point that you're saying.
They say
you
lies,
Googled something. That doesn't mean that you knew it before.
And they'll twist it and divert to something else. Let me go back to that. Since you said that him and a Mufti, you couldn't even name his name. Let me educate you a little bit. I'm sure you know.
I said mullah. I didn't say Mufti.
He wasn't a mullah. He was a Mufti of Jerusalem. See, this is another thing. All of these people, bro. You say they read off the same.
Are you an atheist? Why so religious, by the way?
Yes.
So okay, this is my question to you. You white, black? What race are you? If you don't mind me asking.
I don't know why that matters.
I just want to ask you.
I'm white, but I don't know why that matters.
Okay, so
hey, bro,
white man that grew up in America on a Somali platform constantly. You know, this is the thing with the atheists. Is what is your thing against Islam? Because I've heard you on a couple of platforms. What is it? Let's just be honest, man. You don't I don't know. What is your thing? Because I've heard you on a couple of platforms, always trying to, it's always Islam, this. What is this fixation?
Well, if you check out my channel, I don't just talk about Islam. I bring up Christianity, Judaism. I talk about Mormonism.
I'm not, but listen to this. We're not none of that. I'm just saying, but we're just saying, you've come on a Muslim panel with a bunch of Somalians. What fixation do you get? Is it like I'm here to prove Islam is wrong? Because we got some people like you in our own culture now, like our own Somali brothers and sisters now. Like, what is this fixation? What is it? I like to ask an atheist, like especially a white atheist that grew up in America, what is the whole Islam thing? If you don't even believe in religion in the first place.
Well, I mean, it's obviously false. But my whole thing is that I don't like when people teach things that are not true, about their religion. And so that's why I've always studied various religions. But So
Why is that? Why do you? What does it bother you? Does it? What does it bother
here's the
you?
thing,
Do you lose any sleep? If people, what is it? Were you religious at one point, once upon a time in your life?
That none of this matters. You're trying to make
It
this a
I'm just
personal
trying
matter
to.
instead
It's not
of
personal. I'm just
a
trying
topic.
to. It's not a topic. Like we were discussing Somali revolution, and should we deprogram each other? You're the guy that came with religion.
But I also
would
asked
my
about
sister.
program. I also sent the message asking about is my question a form of programming, right? Like this concept that Palestine is Muslim land when there's no Quran verse or Hadith that solidifies that.
But none of us were even talking about that, bro. We were talking about
because
deprogramming ourselves.
I couldn't get on the other day, so I just brought it up.
No, but that's the other day. There's a little saying. Let me teach you a Somali saying. What happened yesterday happened yesterday.
Is that the original Somali language?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, it's not Arabic?
Who us? No, we're not Arabs, man. This is the thing. This is why we talk about Somali revolution. This is the
I'm wondering because isn't the official language in Somalia Arabic?
This again American. I don't know what to say about Americans. Listen, our official language is Somali. We speak Somali. That's our first language, first and foremost.
Okay. That was the question.
So our topic today was basically about Ridley's back in because Ridley was part of this conversation yesterday of cultures, revolutionary, deprogramming, getting rid of the West. Is it getting rid of the East? Is it adaptation? This was the main focus of today's subject, not about Palestine. And then for some reason, as an atheist that's fixated on Islam, I've seen you maybe on religions. It's just baffling. If you don't believe in that deity, why are you so obsessed with it? Why does it bother you if someone's teaching something wrong, right? Like what gets underneath your skin?
Shouldn't you want to follow truth?
And me, I do follow truth though. My subjective truth. This is the thing. The truth is subjective.
You don't believe that truth is so 1 + 1 is subjective and not universal.
Well, it depends. It depends.
No, 1 + 1 is universal anywhere you go, right? In the whole universe. That's objective truth.
Why so religious? I got a news flash for you. We Muslims, we don't believe in 1 + 1 + 1 = 1. We believe 1 + 1 + 1 = 3. Unlike Christians.
So why are you trying to talk about the Trinity to me when I never mentioned that?
But you see,
he was talking about he follows truth. He talks about following subjective truth. The fact is, truth is objective.
Well, leave me for my truth then. How about that? And I leave
you be happy with this is the problem with atheists.
Hang on.
Go ahead. Go on, sis. You wanna come through?
Why so serious? Yeah. Okay, so everyone's perspective is different in this world, right? So everyone's experience is different. What they're exposed to is different. How they're raised is different. So the mere fact that me and you had a disagreement about Israel and Palestine, over particular things, we didn't hash it out completely. Isn't that not subjective in itself to the mere fact that everyone has a different perspective? I don't know if that makes sense, but
it doesn't make sense because there are such things as objective truth, right? And you can prove something as objectively false, which would mean that even if you it's just about disproving your belief of God, right?
How do you believe that? How do you know that Darwin's theory isn't real?
That's a totally different concept, but we can talk about that. But the point that you were trying to say is, how do I disprove God exists? I don't do that. What I do is show that your God, by his own words inside of his recitation, the Quran, cannot be true because he gets things wrong. So then that's the point, right?
How do you know that?
Just like with the Bible.
How do you know
just
that
like
God
with the
isn't
Bible?
true, though?
I don't know if there
How
is
do you
a
know
God or
that
not.
the Bible,
An atheist,
so
atheism
how can
is
you say
not
that's
saying
true, then?
atheism. Being an atheist is not saying that I know there is no such thing as a God that exists. It's saying that I do not believe that there is a God. Now, a belief system is not saying negative or positive.
But
It's
you're
saying that
believing.
you do not know.
Isn't atheism a belief then? When you just said that you do not believe in a
No,
God.
it's a lack of belief. I do not believe that this God or that God
Isn't that a
exists.
belief within itself, though? The fact that you do
You
not,
said,
because you can't.
I love
prove
how
that
you're
God doesn't
trying
exist.
to.
So
No,
that
no,
within
you're no,
itself
no.
isn't-
Just because I cannot. But here's the thing, though. I can disprove your God. That's the point. Like somebody tomorrow can come up with a whole new God. Somebody tomorrow can be just like Muhammad, who says that they're born and that they're 40 years old and God is speaking through them at certain times, 1 month a year, every year, and every time that he recites these words, they're strictly from God's chosen mouth. Now, depending on what that person says, I can either disprove it, prove it, or just hold a neutral position. But that
Hey,
does
what's
not
your
mean-
belief, man? Hey, why so religious? What's your belief, man? What's your belief? You know our belief.
Notice
We
you
believe
cut
in
me
God.
off because it was a good explanation.
No, I'm asking what you know what our belief is. So let's have a comparison in it. So you know our belief is belief in Allah, belief in God. What's your belief in it? So we could compare. Because otherwise,
Vegeta.
you know what it looks like. It looks like this, right? A homeless guy telling me my home is bad. What about your home? What's your home in it? Let's talk about your home.
Vegeta's
What's
about
your
to
belief?
go. Vegeta's about to go AWOL. I know this guy. He's about to go crazy.
No, forget me, blood. What's your belief? Don't, you know,
circles with us
this
right
guy's
now.
foot was itching, blood. Yo, what's your belief, Jabroni? What's your
This guy
belief?
about to go crazy, dog.
It's not about going.
What's
This
your
is
belief
getting
in it?
boring, man. This ain't G Block, my brother. Like we had a conversation going on. You're on this rare. Sorry about this, my bro, but you
Can
know,
we go back to talk about
Israel
Hey, no. Hey, 1 minute. What's your belief, man? Hey, what's your belief in it? What's your belief?
I don't know,
I believe that I exist.
You believe Allah exists?
I
No, he
said I
believes he
believe
exists.
I exist. I exist.
No,
Me
regarding God, regarding the origin of the universe,
I
regarding the
do
origin
not
of.
believe that a God exists.
You believe? What's your proof for that?
I never said I have proof that God doesn't exist. Did
So
I?
your
Has
belief is
anybody
based on
heard
no
me say that?
proofs. Is that
Has
what you're saying?
anybody
Like,
heard me say that? Has
You saying
anybody
your
heard me
belief?
say that?
Your belief is not based on any proof. You
And
said
your
your belief.
belief is not your belief of a
Our
God
belief
is
is
not
based on the
based on
Quran.
proof.
That's our proof.
But
The
that's
Quran.
not proof. That's a book.
That's proof
That's
for
a
us,
book
isn't it? That's
based
proof for
on
us.
a man. That's a book
But
based on a
what's your
man who
proof? What's your
spoke.
proof for no
Who
God?
spoke. Let me
Yo,
finish.
why so religious? What's your proof for no God, Jabroni?
Your alleged proof is a book called Recitation, right? The Quran.
Yeah. So what? So what? What's your proof?
Which is one time, one
What's your
month
proof in it, blood?
every year that allegedly a God.
Yeah, 1 month, all that.
through
Okay, we heard that
Muhammad.
already, man. What's your proof, man? Why? So what's your proof, blood?
So
What's
you
your
don't
proof for
have
your
proof.
belief?
You don't have proof. You don't
We
have
told
proof.
you what our proof is. What's your proof in it? So
That's not proof.
Okay,
That's not proof.
I told you what my proof
Okay,
is.
okay.
Why don't you
I'll
just
tell you
bring
my-
your proof
I'll
now,
tell you-
so we
I'll
can
tell you
compare?
my proof. I'll tell you my proof of why Allah and Islam
No.
is wrong.
What's your proof for your belief? Your belief is there's no God.
No. Here's the thing.
Your belief is there's no God. So bring a proof for that.
Your belief. I can disprove your belief. Just
You
like
just want to point fingers. That's what you want to do.
disprove Mormonism. I can disprove Christianity, Judaism with their own words, with their own belief system. But I cannot disprove that there is a God. But I can
Because
disprove
your thing is
your
based on
God.
bullshit, basically, innit? That's what you're saying. What you just admitted to, your belief is based upon bullshit. Because you got no proof of your belief. That's what you just said right now.
No. In Vegeta, this is why you are second tier, my friend.
Hey,
You are
come on,
second
man.
tier.
Hey, yo, you're a man, man.
The amount of arrogance that's
You're a man.
emerged from
Come
this
on.
guy. The amount of
Allah.
arrogance that's coming out of this guy. Wallahi.
He's on the wrong chat.
Then ask me
you know
for
what it
my
is?
proof. Ask me for my proof.
You're on the wrong thing, man. We don't really care about your truth, innit? Like like you're on something,
Why
we're
so
Muslim,
religious?
alhamdulillah, blah.
Hey, bro,
That's about
why so
it.
religious?
If I
Why so
can't
religious?
disprove your religion, then ask me for the evidence that I can't do it.
No one cares about what your opinion is, bro.
See, there you go.
We
It's
don't
not an
really care.
With this guy
opinion.
myself,
It's not an opinion.
Hey,
It's
yo,
a fact,
disproving
bro.
religion doesn't mean you're disproving God. By the way, disproving a religion, if I disprove Hinduism, doesn't mean you disprove God. All right, so
I never.
talk about
That was
stick to
my
your
whole
own ground,
point,
bro. Why
Vegeta.
is your
If
foundation so
anybody
weak, man?
noticed that Vegeta just finally agreed with me that you disprove a religion by religion. You don't disprove. You don't disprove a god.
No, you disprove it with comparison. So why
No,
are you
no.
comparing Islam to?
Did Vegeta just not realize what he just said? He just quoted me. He
I
just
didn't call you.
quoted
I
me
just
with.
said to you right
You
now,
didn't
you never
even
listened to
notice
me.
it.
I
You didn't
said
even
by
notice it.
disproving a
Back it
religion,
up.
you're not disproving
Back
God.
it up.
That's what
Back
I'm
it
saying
up.
to you. You're
What
trying to
did I
disprove religion
say?
to disprove
What
God.
did I
How do
say?
you prove your
I
God?
said I cannot disprove God, but I can disprove the religion. And then he
Yo,
brought
that
up
therefore
Vishnu. He brought up
your stuff ain't
Vishnu and
based on
said that
nothing. That
he
mean,
can disprove. If he disproves Vishnu, then
Hey,
that does not
Vegeta.
mean that he does
Vegeta.
no,
not
it's true. I say
disprove
Hinduism. I say
Vegeta,
Hinduism.
God.
Yo, bro.
Vegeta,
I
well, I
just,
think
I,
sister
Allow
wants
it.
to
you
speak
Allow
to
see,
it.
you.
Allow it. You're not gonna get
look at
anywhere.
that.
We're not gonna get anywhere, man. Maverick, what's going on, bro?
Peace. What's
Gone through,
happening,
gone through.
people? What you lot
What's
saying?
going on? Well, all right,
What's
man. We got this
cracking? How
stranger
on earth
Ridley.
did Why So Religious end up here, man?
Yo, it's
He's on
good,
the wrong
brother.
chat.
Yo, what happened, man? I thought this is the deprogramming
Yo,
topic.
Why So Religious?
I
You're in the wrong
know.
channel for that discussion, man. You need to come to my channel for that, B.
Maverick
I
X
deal
has
with
got
you.
you for them ones. You're in the wrong
Dude,
chat, bro.
Maverick, is that Maverick X? Is that
Yes.
Maverick X?
The one
Dude,
and only, B.
I've invited you to my channel multiple times. I even still have a live stream where you said that you were gonna come on because you're a Quranist, correct? And we were gonna talk about this. You never showed up, my guy.
You can come on my channel anytime you want, bro. Furthermore, come on my channel and then the next. Yeah, come to my channel tomorrow. Furthermore,
Tomorrow you're gonna
Let's
be
do
doing a
it right
stream.
now, let's do it right now.
Tomorrow, 8 o'clock GMT. This channel
Are you
don't really
gonna?
deal with that sort of topic, man.
Well, can you bring Orthodox more too?
No problem. He'll probably will be there anyway.
All right, let's get Bernie Bay on this too, man. I wish Sam Garens would show up and we could have like a Quranist lecture going on. Because when you know that when I read the Quran, I read it without the concept of tafsirs and hadiths. I only bring up tafsir and hadiths when other Muslims do that. You know that about me, dog.
No problem.
So-
We'll deal with that tomorrow, B.
So tomorrow, 8 o'clock, Maverick show. I'm gonna be tuning in. Everyone else is gonna be tuning in.
What time? What time? 8 o'clock is like
GMT.
my time. What?
AM GMT.
GMT, bro. You forgot what GMT is? It ain't America.
Greenwich
It's about
Mean
5
Time.
hours ahead.
Okay.
Of New York.
Okay.
Greenwich Mean. Where are you from? New York, Midwest?
I'm from
'Cause, you know-
Tennessee, but I live in the Midwest now.
So you're gonna be. It's probably 1 o'clock in the afternoon, 12 o'clock lunchtime for you. So you organize it on Maverick's channel, Maverick X. He'll send you the link. He'll drop it in the back chat.
Say
we
no
want to
more.
get back to
Maverick X. Is your channel named Maverick X?
Nah, it's just X now.
You just X.
Well, okay. Here, you do this, man. You go to my channel and leave a comment real quick so that I have a direct link to your channel, and then that
No
way
worries.
tomorrow, and then that because you know that I've been trying to talk to you, my guy.
No worries.
You,
No
you
worries.
said
We'll
it,
do
so
that
I've
way.
been willing.
No worries. It's a date.
All right. But I
Peace
still,
out.
before I get off here, I just want to say I do think that y'all should ask yourselves that dono that I gave earlier, right? When I asked Palestine, Muslims consider it Muslim land, but there's not a Quran verse or a hadith that declares that area Muslim land, but there is Bani Israel 4-9 of the Quran that talks about that area being for the children of Israel.
What
now,
area?
Now here's a different thing though.
Hold on, before we
is
move
that
on.
real quick? I want to say
You
this.
said the Quran mentions an area.
Somali said that we're not scholars. You should go talk to a scholar. Then Muslims should not have the opinion that that area is Muslim land until they speak to a scholar, right?
1 minute. Before we move on, you said something about the Quran mentioning an area for Bani Israel. Where did you get that from?
So, Surat Bani Israel, right? Ayah 4-9 mentions about how Allah sent down two afflictions upon the Jews in their land, and that if they ever commit these crimes again, that Allah would be there to judge them own their land. Now, this is Surah 17, Bani Israel, which a lot of Muslims call the night journey.
Hang about. Weren't you just saying that the Quran's
You
full of
went from
holes,
chapter
full
4
of
to chapter
holes and it's
17.
wrong? And it,
What?
No, he does have a point. That there is I don't remember which verse it was that talks about them being given a particular land, and if they don't fulfill the commands, then God will have
Allah
another.
tells them 2 times. Allah
Yes,
says
but,
that
does
we
Allah
have.
does he say what area that is? Because you
Now he
mentioned
does say
area.
it. He does. Now he
Why
does
so
say it in
religious? Sorry to
different. He
cut you
does
off,
say
yeah?
it in different parts of the Quran.
Yo, I
No,
beg
but
you,
does he
go to
mention
his channel.
area?
Say
Because you
it, man.
specifically mentioned land. Does it mention anything about land?
Sorry, Maverick, man. I had to kick him out, man. Because he
yo,
was
this guy, yo, you guys, I just had a look at his channel. Wallahi, the amount of anti-Islamic, anti-Muslim filth this guy has.
I can't be bothered, man. Maverick, tell him, make a message on his channel. You lot organize your thing tomorrow. I'll probably sit down and watch.
No, don't worry, I got him.
I got him.
I got him.
All right, let's get back to our original topic here. Maverick, you're here. Muna's here. Jesna's
Can I say
here.
one thing?
Go ahead,
There
my
is a hadith about Jerusalem in Bukhari that the Muslims, they're gonna conquer Jerusalem. So there is a hadith. He said there's no hadith, but there is hadith, bro. And you could bring Quran or ayat as well. But anyway, sorry about continue your thing, bro.
This is how they operate. You know, they get underneath your skin when they say, you know, reckless
No,
stuff.
but what I don't understand is, look, you're an atheist. You're a full-blown atheist. Why the fuck you? And I'm willing to Adan guy as well. Why are you obsessed with Islam and religion?
This channel is just purely Islam, Muslims, Quran. Just that's it. Nothing.
I see. It's just I don't know. It's a new way of getting clout, man. This is what I'm saying, man. Let's get back to this. Maverick, I wanted to ask you: Somali revolution, or should we deprogram each other? Culture? What do you think? What's your thoughts on it? What's your thoughts on the culture and everything?
I just came in. Let me listen to you guys. Let me listen to you.
We tried to, but you know why we're so religious changed up everything. So I don't even know. So listen, yeah, that's what we were talking
I've got
about.
a bounce. My internet keeps going down.
Yeah, but you wanted to get involved, Jesna. You got anything to drop? So should we, the culture, because a lot of people are getting upset nowadays. Like we're not putting our interests first, or we're putting other people's interests. What's your thoughts on that, sis? Before you leave.
Actually,
I think
speaking
people,
of that,
like I was just talking about.
Yeah,
continue.
Hey, Jesna, well done, by the way, for sticking up and triggering that.
nice. Thank you.
Like you done a good job. Well done. Take, you know.
Yeah, come through, sis.
No, he triggered me. Like he really did. He
Nah, he
triggered
came
me
to
so
trigger.
badly,
well.
like,
He came to
Really
trigger
fought
even
well.
with his little.
You got him back just as good. Don't worry about it.
What's your thoughts, sis? Talk to us. Because
I
nowadays,
think
since
we do need
go
to
ahead.
put like our needs first. Can you hear me?
Yeah, okay, you sis. Go ahead.
We do need to put our needs. Yeah, so we need to put our needs first, and I think, like at the same time, we can like advocate for other people because what's that saying? They came for me first, and then they came for that person. You know what I mean? But I do see like a light under a tunnel for our people because, like, you know, just looking at Mogadishu, like how it is transformed so much, like over the past 8 years, it's unbelievable. Like Hargeisa as well, like over the last like 20 years, whatever. Like people have done this by themselves. No, not a lot of help besides their own people, and I think it's just gonna take time. We might not see it in our lifetimes, but I definitely do see it one day.
Inshallah, sis. Big up for that. Yeah. The boy Mavs, you want to take over? You want to ask a couple of questions? Go ahead.
Go.
No, I thought you finished.
Have a
No,
good
go
one,
ahead,
yeah?
sis. No, go ahead. Carry on, sis. I thought you were finished.
No, I'm good. I'm done. I'm literally on my data right now because my internet is down. I'm so annoyed. I can't use the TV. I can't use my iPad. I can't use my laptop at all. It's so annoying.
Oh, damn. Tech
If we're doing a
problems.
show tomorrow, I'm gonna come from probably.
My probably show is going to be on Wednesday. I'm probably going to do something on Wednesday. Well, yeah. I'm going to be uploading videos, so
All right,
Wednesday,
sounds
probably Wednesday. Well, I've got a good topic. Come through on Wednesday, well, yeah?
Yeah.
Hey, well, what Mavs Rids? What's going on? Talk to me. What's you man's thinking? Evolution, de-evolution? Is the Somali culture stagnated? Is there any
Yeah,
differences?
man.
What's going on?
I think like
Go on, talk to me.
Somalis have to focus on more of a national identity and like a nationalist type of ideology. I mean, a lot of people are very disunited. Like everyone is all over the place. You know, there's too many people that are pro this, pro that. You know, booty licking, dick riding other cultures. It's getting embarrassing. You know, you got people that are half Somali trying to speak for Somali problems of Somali Nimo. It's getting out of hand. You know what I mean? There has to be like a strong, inclusive culture that people have to identify with. You know, to protect themselves. You know what I mean? Even us, like with our struggle, right? Like, why is it that we always go help or support other people? I think it's just, especially there's a huge amount people in the diaspora that have low self-esteem, like a huge amount, especially with girls, like huge self-hate issues, you know, sellout issues. You know what I mean? People are just like, you know what I mean? It's looking pretty bad. I don't know. Like the future is, it has to be like I said, like a nationalistic identity, like a Wadani type patriotic identity. Everyone is just looking for a way out, you know?
Definitely, definitely. But it's the blaming women. Why would you say it's especially the girls with the low
No, I'm
self-esteem?
saying I'm not blaming. I'm saying that's just what I see online, like the
Mhm.
self-hate issues. Like if Somalis are going to war right now, a diaspora with Mados or someone a specific group, there's gonna be a female first to join the other side. Like I remember I was watching a fight. Someone was saying something about Somali's foreheads, and a Somali came and said something about a nose, like the way how the nose was shaped. And then they said, "Oh, that's racist." What do you mean? The man just came for the other person's forehead. Now you want for the nose?
Oh
Like
no.
it's
Oh
like you
no.
get man who got stabbed, then he took a gun and he shot him. Like it's part of the game, you know. I mean, like it's just as weird. It's like especially even yesterday with that Puntite chick, you know,
Yeah.
she was sitting there and how she was like had this Pan African identity, how she's trying to put Somalis in the same unit. Like stop this, grow up, like so your ancestors were anti-African. That's just what the real is. They
But that's
never
stupid
considered.
though. If we're anti-African, we are
No,
African.
I'm not saying anti-African like they don't have. You see, like if you look at Asia, there's no Asian identity. There's no the Indians, the Arabs, and the East Asians are all different, live in the same continent, but they all have a different identity. With Africans, it's a weakness. You can't let someone that comes from a colonial or slave background uniting us in a political identity.
One second. Wait. Hold on. Hold on.
Man, here we go.
One minute. This thing about identity and culture, it's never been about identity, nor it's ever been about culture. The only thing that matters is opportunities, security, the ability to trade, practical things that make a change in people's lives is the only thing that matters. So when you say, for instance, Pan-Africanism's got nothing to do with identity. It's about people finding their interest lay with trading with their neighbors and basically securing security with their neighbors. This is what all neighboring
You're switching
countries.
into
This is
ideology.
1 minute.
It's a political
This is
ideology.
1 minute, man. Let's not speak over each other. This is what all neighboring countries tend to do. It is interest. It is in your interest. You're not gonna have security if your neighbor doesn't have security. You know what I'm saying to you? Yeah? And it's in your interest to trade with your neighbor before you trade with someone miles away from you. It's just mathematically makes more sense for you to trade with your neighbor. You will find that this happens in Asia. You will find that this happens in Europe. You'll find that this happens in South America, North America, all over the place. This hang up on identity and culture and he said, she said is childish. It's just unnecessary. It's irrelevant. Every nation has to have allies. Who do you want your allies to be if you have a problem with your neighbors?
Rids, you want to take over? The floor's all yours. You got a rebuttal.
Hey, you guys, I'm gonna call it a night. Yeah?
Okay, because
Salam alaikum.
go ahead.
Alaikum assalam, my brother.
Yeah.
Come through, Rids. What you got to say about that?
Yeah, no, because you see, it's bullshit what he's saying. First of all, because that's the case. Then why is Kenya meddling with Somali foreign affairs and wanting Somalia to be decentralized?
Because it's in
Why are
their
we
interest.
acting as if? Okay, exactly, but don't make it seem like, oh, we have to. You what you said is right. When it comes to trading, economically speaking, but the ideology is political. It's a Bantu nationalism. You know, it doesn't fit our agenda as people, especially how our ancestors conducted themselves. You know what I mean? We have. That's what it is. What are you talking about?
What is
That's what
Bantu
Pan-Africanism is, man. That's what it's really.
So is Africa just
I mean,
Bantus?
it's basically Pan-African.
1 minute, 1 minute.
Well,
Is Africa just
to Afrocentrists, yes. To Afrocentrists, yes, it is. I'm not arguing with you. I'm not arguing with you, but that's how they see it as. That's how they see it. That's the reality. They think Africa belongs to them. These people, but you have to listen to me before you rebuttal. Listen to what I'm trying to say.
I'm not even
These are
rebutting.
people
I'm
that
trying to
believe.
follow you. You're speaking a bit too fast.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. These people have the ideology thinking that the original inhabitants of North Egypt, North Africa. Even the other day, Puntite lady was trying to say yesterday that Bantu people were like all of North Africa was all black originally, and all
Okay,
this type of
how
rhetoric.
would you dismiss that?
Hmm?
How would you negate that?
What'd you say?
How would you dismiss that?
Yeah,
How would I dispute that? How did I take that?
How would you negate? Yeah, how would you negate
dismiss
that all of Africa was black originally? How would you negate that?
Well, I would negate it by the geographical location and the proximity with Europe, understanding the genetic coding that the people have in themselves that are much more similar with Horn of Africans and out of African migration. You know what I mean? Everyone knows historically speaking.
You're just saying a bunch of stuff there. 1 second, easy. How does?
Oh my God!
Okay, explain. How would
So
you negate?
what are you talking about? Are you
all
agreeing
of
or not? You have to prove me wrong. Because I know it's not. I know that it's not. There's no Bantus that live in North Africa. They all came as slaves.
I think,
They weren't there before.
you need to, 1 minute. You keep throwing around this word Bantu. Like, do you think all of Africa is just Bantu, and then you have Somalis? Is that what you see Africa as?
I didn't say that.
So why do you keep
that,
saying?
man?
Why do you keep using the word Bantu?
What are you saying? I know what I'm talking about. So what are you saying, man? What are you? I know exactly what I'm talking about.
I'm trying to follow you, man. Like, can you calm down? No one's arguing with you. I'm trying to understand what you're saying. You keep using the word Bantu, and you keep listen. Let's talk about the default, innit? The default position is what? That Africa was all black in the beginning, or that there was always lighter skinned people in the north. Like, what is your position, or do you think that came to be sometime in the past?
So my position is that Africa is a diverse continent. Okay, that everything started off in the east, and then everything changed. Because if you look at the Horn of Africa example, right, it's the most diverse area when it comes to specific groups, Nilotic, Cushitic, Bantu groups. While most Bantus come from West Africa, North Africa itself is an offshoot of the Afro-Asiatic speaking groups that inhabited the region for centuries. Also including that the migration of Europeans and also Arab groups that went there in the area. Well, Pan-Africanists
wait. So when you say migration of Europeans and Arabs, isn't that you acknowledging that they entered Africa?
I mean, for example, they definitely did enter.
So wait. So you have no. So you have no arguments against the Puntite girl then? You just refuted yourself.
Yes, I do have an argument. The Puntite girl is trying to say no. She's trying to say that the blacks were there before the indigenous North
You
Africans
just said it. You just said they came there,
including the Berbers. No, because they're mixed people. They're miscegenated people.
Get out of here, man. Shit, I'm saying. Get in Igbo.
You contradicted yourself there, bro.
Like, there's multiple groups. There's multiple groups that live in North Africa.
3 hours. You gotta listen back to 3 hours and 5 minutes, man. You got wallah. You kind of dig yourself in a little hurriedly, but go ahead, brother. Get yourself out.
No, because I told him that's what I'm trying to say. Because this guy Maverick is the agent of confusion, man. He's not here to having a discussion.
Agent of confusion. I just asked you a
debate. Yeah. No, we all know who you are, bro. You're not the type of person that comes here to have a proper discussion and debate.
Well, don't make this personal. Just stick to the conversation, my dude. Relax yourself.
Can I just
This is
interject?
this is
Sorry.
just based on your own arguments.
Sorry, let sister come through. Sister
Yeah, let
America.
me just. I'm trying to follow, to be honest, but
Yeah.
really, you have to explain how. First of all, I don't understand either, to be honest, especially what the question was from the beginning, where you're going with this. But then, if you are going somewhere, how is this supposed to move us forward? What you're saying?
No, because the
I
original way
don't
this
know.
guy was saying some BS about Pan-Africanism, saying, "Oh, it's economic, whatever the bullshit he was saying, something around economy."
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
I'm telling him it's a lie.
right.
It's Bantu nationalism. It's not created by us. It's created by West African scholars who believe that Africa should be one country, one nation, one government, all of that. That's what I'm trying to say. And he's trying to come on economic, whatever economy bullshit, knowing damn well Somalia's biggest enemies are its neighbors. And then also the Gulf Arabs. Like, just stop. That's what I'm trying to say.
Is this guy all right? Hold on.
What
1 minute.
evidence do you have to say
Like,
that?
you made so many claims there. That's amazing. All right, hold on. First and foremost, you said it's Pan-Africanism. It's an idea that came from West Africa. Let's just say, for argument's sake, that is the case. Why is it problematic just because it came from West Africa? First and foremost. Secondly, let me just experiment on something that you mentioned there. Let's just say, for argument's sake, there were intellectuals from West Africa, East Africa, wherever. It doesn't matter. If intellectuals in Africa came to the conclusion that the best way for Africa to move forward is for Africa to have one nation, are you supposed to have academic, intellectual arguments why that is not the way forward, or do you just automatically feel a type of way about that?
No, you have to have. First of all, that's impossible. That will never happen. There's too many division for that to even happen. It doesn't make sense at all. If that's the case, then it just would be. No, there's no feelings. It's you use your brain. You know what I mean? Like what do you mean? A group of people that are divided under tribal lines, then also that are under the same lines with other different groups of languages, religions, and different regions. Come on, bro, that doesn't make sense.
There's nothing that can't be achieved if the interests, if people find it in their interest. But the point, really, you're arguing against the wrong point. The point is, why are you find? Because you made two statements. You said one is from West Africa, and two, you said, oh, they're trying to make this one nation, blah 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 blah. Although that's not what Pan-Africanism does not mean one nation. You just made a huge jump there. But for argument's sake, though, like it was isn't it part of Guardianism? If scholars, one second. If people found it beneficial intellectually, they found it beneficial. Should you argue against it based on intelligence, or do you just feel a type of way about it? Because right now, it seems to me that you have problems with some other Africans, really.
No, I don't have any problem. I feel like it's just useless for Somalis to abandon. I'd rather the Horn of Africans come together than the rest of Africa like that. It doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? It really.
Why doesn't it make sense? What is the
Africa's too diverse. Africa's too diverse for it to come together.
Okay, when you say come together, do you think people are trying to? Do you think people are trying to?
Let me finish. You have different political ideologies. You have different political ideologies that fit for people. The political ideology that can work for Somalis or Horn of Africans is not the same that can work for what goes down for people in Southern Africa, Central Africa, Western Africa.
Okay, hold on. But 1 second, man. What do you think people are uniting on? Like, what do you mean by political ideologies? Like, if there was some sort of a African unity, what do you think that unity would be other than trade?
So, okay, I don't know. There's nothing for me. I know my people. Nationalism works best for them. I think that's what would be good for us. I can't speak for other Africans. I don't know. I'm
confused. Okay, let me ask you this. Who would you want to ally with and have favorable terms in terms of trade?
I mean, Eritrea,
security. Huh?
I mean, depends, right? Like, let's say if we're thinking about hypothetically Somalia as one country, I would trade with countries I would do trade with would be Qatar, Taiwan, Israel, Singapore. all those countries.
Okay, let me ask you this.
Utilize the same economic model that they have to benefit them.
Okay, but do you remember the caveat that I gave you? I said favorable terms. Now, the countries that you mentioned, you might be in love with them and you might think highly of them, but do they think highly of you?
Good question.
Would they
It depends how you come. If it depends how you move to them business wise. You know,
no, I'm asking. Okay, business wise.
When it comes to business, it all depends.
Think about your position. Think about your position, your geographical position. Think about your history. Think about your language. Think about your continent, and think about. Give me a single reason. If I'm from Qatar, if I'm from Kuwait, if I'm from Singapore, those countries that you mentioned, why would I trade with you favorably? Why? Who are you to me?
Because it depends on the research that I have to offer. Do you know
no, but whatever you
works, it depends on what kind of
if you
goods
have
and services that I have to offer to you. So what are you trying to get at, man? What are you trying to get at?
What I'm trying to get at? What I'm trying to get at?
This guy's trying to make it seem as better than say with Senegal.
What I'm trying to get at is listen. What I'm trying to get at is friendships are based on done. What I'm trying to explain to you is why would they find it in their interest to be favorable to you? Now, if you have something that they need, that's a completely different topic. You understand what I'm saying to you? But if you have something that other people have, let's say, for example, if I'm Singapore, I need some sort of a product or service that I can get from, let's say, Malaysia, or let's say Japan, or let's say anywhere in Asia. If I can get a product from anywhere in Asia or service from anywhere in Asia, do you think I'm going to choose to get it from you? Answer my question. Do you think I'm going to choose to get it from you?
Answer the goddamn question.
I don't know. It depends, right? It depends what's feasible.
How would it be? Okay,
I don't know. Like,
sell it to me. Sell it to me. Make it conceivable. I have the same product and service.
What are you trying to get at, man? Just say you rather trade with Africa, man. Let's say you rather trade with Africa. We're gonna agree to disagree. You know what I mean?
No, I'm asking. See, this is not a matter of agree to this. This is not a matter of agree to disagree.
Bro. It depends how the business services.
Listen, it's not a matter of the agree to disagree. You haven't managed to answer a single question. You would starve us if you would lead the country.
Oh man, big up Punta in the building.
Coming from the Quran, okay, coming from the Quran.
Go ahead. You tell me who we're gonna deal with.
But I swear you're not a non-believer. You told us you're not even a non-believer. Why are you trying to put the Quranists down? That doesn't make sense.
What is he, a non-believer?
Yeah.
He's an atheist.
Yeah.
See, that's the world we're in. Even atheists trying to talk shit about the Quran. Unbelievable, bro.
It's not even that. Punta's in the building right now.
She can defend herself, then I can go on break now.
Defend herself.
Assalamu alaikum, my beloved brothers and sisters.
Alaikum assalam, my sister. Peace. Apparently, so yesterday you were sorry, we got G Marley in the building. Hello. G Marley, are you a girl all this time?
I brought all the women around. Come on.
Thank you, sis. Halle, you left a stir. A lot of people, the boy Ridley was just complaining about you right now as well. A lot of people complaining about you, and he can't really answer. Maverick's kind of sticking on him about the Pan-African sort of vibe, and
bro, not even that, man. Look at this. Somalia tried to join the East African community with South Sudan, Uganda, Kenya, Rwanda, Tanzania. They both got rejected twice. So they tried to be part of Pan-African, quote unquote, like an African unity type thing, and they got rejected because they weren't seen as African enough. Or this, and even some Kenyans.
I think Somalia. No.
Bro,
I think Somalia was unstable.
They weren't seen as African enough, or maybe it wasn't in their interest to bring in Somalia
South Sudan
and the
is
other
in the same
countries
situation though.
because
South Sudan is the
because
country in turmoil.
economically. But listen, my God. First and foremost, when you say East African community, you're talking about a community of Sujus that basically have a particular history that they share. That's what you're talking about. You do realize that, right? Like their language, the common language that they all speak is Swahili. They're even intended to be one country. You understand? So the project that they have going on in Tanzania, Kenya, and them lot is a project that you and I don't fit in. It's nothing to cry about. Why are you in your feelings?
I'm not crying about. I'm not saying. I'm
You
just
are
saying.
crying about. You're coming up with stuff like, oh, we're not African
say
enough.
it. You're saying that's no, bro. I'm not like you, bro. I'm not. I don't sympathize with these people.
Well, you
I'm
just
personally
said it.
not
We're not African enough. That was a dumb statement.
I didn't say that. That's what they said. I'm not. I don't care, bro. To me, my African
That's
identity.
what they said. We heard that come from you. We know for a fact they couldn't say stuff like that. You know how
well, that's what
they
you don't know because you're delusional. You're a delusional guy.
One minute.
You're delusional. That's what you are.
One second, really. You are in Africa. You have always been in Africa.
Shit.
One second, man. There is no trace of you ever in history originating from anywhere outside of Africa. There's no trace of that. So the idea that anyone could say that you're not African enough, that's just
bro. Because you never, bro.
Right?
I had a guy
for anyone to say that.
Had a guy years back. Well, I had a guy a couple years back. I was outside of summer Edmonton. He asked me, "Well, can I ask you a question?" I'm like, "Yeah, man." He's like, "Is Somalia in Africa or in the Middle East?" And I was confused at this time. I'm like, "What the fuck?" I'm like, "No, it's in Africa." But this is how a lot of people perceive you and us, how we move. I don't care, bro. I'm not here arguing about that.
Maybe you met an uneducated African, you know. Well, a lot of people know Africa.
But I'm just saying. That's how you move. A lot of them consider you
but you've got this anti-blackness in you. And a lot of Somalis have this anti. I don't know whether it's anti-Bantu. You got anti-Bantu, like sort of something Bantu. Like I don't know. There's something anti about African with you. You rather accept
do you know what it is? Like, y'all need to stop generalizing.
I'm saying Somalia have it's a homogeneous country that has an identity that can help itself and only unite with other Horn of Africans. This global African identity is BS. You know what I mean? We don't fit in this project. Our culture is not like that. Our ancestors is not like that. Go deep down your family roots and your family line. There are people in your house that do despise to even be labeled as African, let alone to even associate with them. That's just the fact of the matter.
Listen to what you just said right now. Listen to what you just said now. You just said there's people in your family. You just said there's people in your family that despise being called African or being labeled African. First and foremost, because you have ignorant people in your family, is nothing to be proud of. It's nothing to
I didn't say be proud of. I just said
it's nothing.
Don't put words in my mouth.
Nothing to announce. It's nothing to announce because what you just said is pure, utter ludicrous. It's absurdity to the optimum level. Like, my brethren, you are African. Somalia is in Africa. Go look it up. There's nothing. It doesn't matter how you feel about it.
I don't hear East Asian or South Asian saying I'm Asian. I mean, they say the Indian.
Dude, 1 minute, man. Bloody hell, bro. Listen. Do you understand something called a fact? Is it a fact that you are African or not? Is it a fact?
I mean, it's a fact that Somalia is in Africa. Yeah, Somalia is in Africa. Yeah, the Somali state.
So what do you? Somalia is in Africa. Does that make you African or not?
Continental, yes. Yeah.
Well, why are you adding in a caveat? Like you struggle to just simply say you are African. Like, why are you putting in a caveat? Continental. What the hell is that supposed to be?
Saying that, bro. Like I go by my ethnicity, man. That's just what I rap. Like, it's not hard.
See when you say you go by your ethnicity. Listen, hold on.
Like, I don't know why you have a problem with this. Like,
no, 1 minute, man.
You bust your identity.
As Fahano, check this out. You know when you say, when you say you go by your ethnicity, please understand the world doesn't give a bro. Can I just say a word, fam, please? Anyways, listen, yeah. As I was saying, yeah, the world does not care about how you feel. I go by this and that. You sound like a transsexual saying, I go by a female. As long as the world sees a fucking male, it don't matter what you go by. You know when you said earlier on about about, oh, we don't classify ourselves as African, blah, blah, blah. If a European goes to South America, no matter what part of Europe he's from, he will be seen as a European. If an Asian goes to Africa, no matter what part of Asia he's from, he will be seen as an Asian. If an African, no matter what part of Africa he's from, went to South Africa, went to Asia, went to Europe, what do you think you would be?
What's your point, man? You get on with it, bro. Like I'm identified Somali, that's all. If I'm African, yeah, but that's not what I'm gonna label myself. You know what I mean?
So what you're saying is, so
when someone asks you where you're from, you say I'm African. 54
no, there's a difference here. Listen, the word European and the word African, both those two words would only come up when you are talking about a people generally. So you're talking about Europeans in general. You're talking about Africans in general. That's when you would be called an African, just like all other Africans. However, when it comes to specifics, then someone would be called a German or a Pakistani or a Somali. You're confusing the general and the specific. Like, seriously, what is wrong with you?
What is wrong with you, bro? I'm allowed to identify with what I want to identify with. Go on 50 years ago, somebody were calling themselves African.
Okay, so
you're
just
liar.
like a
No, shut up, bro. You see,
no, because,
you're
no,
lying.
hold on. You just
go
said
50 years ago, Somali weren't saying they're African.
You
lying?
Just said, I identify.
They weren't going like that. They were yelling their ethnicity or subclan. Are you lying?
You just said, I identify.
You're a liar.
You're a
liar.
Are you done? You just said I identify by whatever I identify with. I'm not being funny, but that's precisely how transsexuals sound like.
My cultural linguistic group.
Oh, all right. Okay, let me ask you this. You know, when you say your ethnicity, your culture, your linguistic group. Okay, when you see Indaya, for example, yeah, do you make a difference between Korean, Chinese, Japanese, or do you just say Indaya?
No, I make a difference. I definitely, for sure, I make a difference.
Oh, really?
Yes, that's what I do. Yes, I ask them what they are and I make a difference.
Can we identify Ridley? Sorry, can we identify Ridley as transracial? Can we call him transracial? Our first transracial Somali. We're seeing our first transracial Somali.
I'm not gonna let this bald nigga tell me what I am, bro. This nigga wanna be Pan-African, all of this different identity. Choose one identity. I'm simple. I'm a Horn of African. That's Somali.
Bro, listen, don't get excited because Khalid jokes around with me. Khalid is relax yourself, young man.
No, man, shut the hell up, man.
Listen,
talking too much.
Listen.
Old ass nigga.
You're on a panel. You're making claims. You will be challenged. Why? If you're gonna cry, then why be
challenge my claims then? But don't come. But
then
don't come
that's what I'm doing. Do you think I'm interested in you?
No, because you're trying to paint us as this type of group that was always what they call like getting along with these African groups that were all pro-African. We're not like that.
Look him go
the diaspora is not a representative of Somali people move. I have nothing against them. I'm just a realist. I know my people will go further on if they focus on their community and their own group, if they become more ethno-nationalist rather than this Pan-African identity, which has nothing to do with us. We have nothing to do with this type of identity. We don't bring nothing to the table for these people. They bring nothing for us. You know what I mean? We focus on ourselves.
We focus on.
Somali's in the
Pan-Africanism.
One minute. So are you propagate? So basically, you're trying to like advertise the idea that we should be a completely insulated country with no allies and trade with nobody.
I didn't say that. I'm definitely allies.
That is precisely what you said.
Definitely trade. I said with most African countries, only the Horn of Africa is the only people that we should associate with. That's how we're good with. And then people from outside Africa, I said already, I already have my people that I want to deal with.
So we should limit. So we should limit our scope when it comes to trading. Like, look at the level of stupidity you're coming with.
First of all, Eritrea, look at it. Look at Eritrea. Eritrea isolated itself. Okay. You know when
you said Eritrea isolated itself, is Eritrea a model? Is Eritrea a model for success?
Definitely not, but it's a model for pride. It's the only African country that doesn't take aid from
So forget
Europeans.
success. Let's go for pride.
For pride, yes, for pride for sure.
Forget
What do you
success.
mean? Yeah, but it had the issue because it does lose a lot of its
Bro,
migrants that leave the country.
really, how old are you, bro? Like, wallahi, like there is
man?
no,
What does
you're
that
not
matter,
even,
man?
you're not even taking the slightest break and going, hold on, let me think about this for a second. Like, you're just beating your chest like a monkey.
Let Sister Puntai come in, man. Sister Puntai, you got a couple of points. Drop it.
Nah, I'm not gonna listen to no Quranists, bro.
Okay, the atheists.
Yeah, bro, you're known as a goof. You know that. You're known as a goof in the community. Man. Stop lying right now.
Let's not get personal.
Let's not get personal. Let's stick
Get
to
back
the
to the
point.
topic.
There, he has
in
to.
regards to
What
what
else is he gonna do?
Riddy's saying about.
Go on, let the
In
Sister
regards to
Puntai
what
come in.
Riddy's saying about, he wants us to focus on doing for self and things of that nature. That's precisely what Pan-Africanism is. Also, Somalia has had the biggest impact on starting the foundation of Pan-Africanism. Did you know that?
It did. We actually
Did you know
hosted.
that?
Sister actually
We were
looked at a little
part of
research.
actually hosting it, and we were part of starting it. The roots. We were part of the grassroots activism when it came to Pan-Africanism. The concept is to do for self. That's the whole concept. So it's got nothing to do with ethno groups. It's got nothing to do with tribes. It respects all tribes, all differences. We're not trying to get rid of people's differences. We're not a monolithic group. We don't want one type of African. There's too many types of African.
So
We
what about
just
North
want
Africa?
self-determination for all of our people. That's
So
all
what about
it
North
is.
Africa then? What about North Africa? How do they fit in this Pan-African identity?
They don't
That's a
fit
big
in.
issue.
They
So then
don't.
how
They
does it
don't
work
fit
then?
in because they're colonialists. They're still colonizers. They're still practicing genocide against indigenous people of that land. They don't fit in.
So what
Same
about
as the white man in
and
South
they have
Africa.
natural
They don't
outs,
fit
and they
in.
have natural allies outside of Africa.
Exactly. They do not fit in. You go to North Africa, they don't identify as African. That's a fact.
But you can say the same for some Somalis too. That would say that. There's a few
But
that say that too.
no one listens to the ignorant peasants of Somalis. The intelligent upper class people don't do that. You think our elite Somalis? Do you think they sound like you?
Well, what do you mean?
think our
They're not
educated
like
people
you,
sound
bro.
like you?
They're not on some Pan-African shit.
No,
definitely they do. Most Somalis are definitely Wadani. They're definitely ethno-nationalists at heart. That's what a lot of Somalis are.
Being a Pan-African, isn't that a
Being a
Wadanism?
Wadani doesn't mean you being a Pan-Africanist
But
don't mean you're not a
I'm saying
Wadani.
this.
If you're a Wadani,
Most
actually
don't
you're a
think like most don't
Pan-African
think Pan-African.
because you
Most
do
Somalis
for
that I know
self.
don't
You're
think.
going against the colonizers, the imperialists. You're going against any other form of structure that is against your own natural way of living.
It's about your
That's what it is
interest,
to be a
man. That's all it's
Pan-African.
about.
I'm still
you're conflating
it.
it. You're conflating it. You're not understanding what Pan-Africanism is. You need to do your research and you're reading.
I did my research. I know what it was. It comes from a nigga from Jamaica. I already need to know what it means.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
One second.
No, it doesn't. What are you talking about?
Wait, Puntai.
Are you talking about
Puntai,
Marcus Garvey? Because that's a whole
yeah,
nother thing.
Puntai, don't let him get away with that. So what if it came from a nigga from Jamaica? Let's just say that was the case. Like, why is he saying that like it's a negative thing?
I'm not saying it's
not a negative thing,
it's
but it
not
doesn't.
identity attached to my people. That's what
But it's
it's attached to you as an
identity that this
individual.
guy talks about, man.
What's wrong with this ball nigga, man? You know what I mean?
Just me. 1 minute, really.
Don't shine your head, bro. You know what I mean? I'm feeling like a culture matches with this. Just be real. No, you will listen, bro. Stop being dumb.
Sorry, I had to. Sorry.
Listen, yeah, as I was saying, yeah, at the end of the day, the interest that everyone has, I don't understand this hang up on identity. My brethren, you're not gonna be in this planet for life. We're all gonna die. The only interest
So
that
what?
people
What does that
have,
matter?
the only interest that people have is to secure the future of their children. And by that, what people are trying to secure is one, security, and two, resource. That's it. That's all there is in this world. Now, who do you think is going to help you with security and with resource other than outside of Africa? Who? Because even when we say Pan-Africans, we ain't claiming that we love each other. It's got nothing to do with feelings. It's to do with mutual interest. Can you not
There you
comprehend that?
go.
You didn't say that before. Now you're switching up. You should have said that earlier. That makes more sense.
No, but that's precisely what it was born
Because I
out
know those
of.
people are not my
Is our
allies.
mutual shared experience of colonialism and our
Yeah,
resistance
that's all we
against
share
the
with them.
imperialists. That's what it was born out of. That we need to get free. We need to get these people out of our land and them them to stop touching our resources. Self-determination. That's what
So
it's
what
all
do
about.
you-
It's got nothing to do with
So
identity.
what about the Kenyans then? What about the Kenyans and the treatment of the Somalis and the NFD?
The British still colonized Kenya. Do you not know nothing about
I know, but answer the
neo-colonialism?
question
They're
then.
sitting
The
on that
Kenyans are still
seat.
colonizing
Don't
Somalis
think
there too.
Uhuru calls
Okay, I
his
know
own
you're Bantu
shots. He
sympathizing.
don't
But
calls
hold on,
he doesn't call his own shots.
I don't think you understand. No one's claimed that Kenyans love you or that you should love Kenyans. It's just interest. It's got nothing
Mutual
to do
interest.
with feelings.
Mutual interest, bro. Business.
Business. That's it.
Wouldn't you rather trade with 1 billion people, even some of them are landlocked, inside your continent? Like Ridley, what's going on with you?
Bro, I can still do
Let
business
them go
with my
on,
enemy,
bro.
you know?
Because
it's
you don't
business.
understand how the economy works. If you develop your country properly under security, under food security and education, you can trade with whoever you like, whether it be Africans or non-Africans. This political ideology doesn't suit us, especially when our people have
Trade
left
is not
people
about
left a
like,
bad
though.
impression
It's about
with other
interest.
Africans. People
Trade
left
is not
right
about
now,
like, though.
people who are being
It's about
subjugated,
mutual interest.
bro. Where people are being subjugated in the NFD, the situations that's going on in the Somali region, Ethiopia, those are taking precedent right now to help those people gain self-determination, which is the utmost priority, which is in Africa. Yes or no? The fact that you people try to say, "Oh, forget about all of this. Let's go against the European." Even if we do that, what about
But
our
you're
people?
mentioning NFD, right? And the Kenyatis. What about Ogaden and the Ethiopians
I just
then?
said
Because
that.
you're
I said
saying
that
we're part of
Somali
the
region,
same group,
Ethiopia.
innit?
I just said that. The
Seriously, have you
Ethiopian
noticed
one.
he did not mention the Kush Empire. I noticed that he keeps sticking onto it. If you're gonna mention
He
one
doesn't
occupation
he
of
doesn't
Somalia,
understand. Like the thing is, we kill each other as well.
Yeah, but
So
then we
what,
can
are you
solve
gonna
that
be
issue. That's
anti-Somali
between us.
now?
I just
No,
don't
no, that's
understand the
different.
thinking with feelings. Like, why are you thinking with your feelings? I don't get it.
I'm not thinking with my feelings. I'm thinking with my
You are,
Somali.
because you're
I'm
talking
thinking
about
about my
so and
people.
so
I'm
did
not.
this, so and so did
I'm not
that.
gonna sit down with a
Bro,
Bantu and discuss
if
business.
it's in my
You know what I mean?
interest, I'll deal with Israel. If it's in my interest.
Israel's definitely a good trading partner.
If
you
it's
have
in
a
my
lot of
interest, I'll deal with anyone.
Yeah, I know Israel's definitely a
so
partner
Ridley,
that you deal
you
with.
wouldn't rather trade with Muslim nations in Africa. You rather trade with Israel.
Yeah, for sure. Israel could teach me a lot. We can do technology share. Israel could put you on. It could teach you how to develop yourself. Take a lot.
So you're
from
more
you.
a commentator.
Wait.
We
Who
share
are
a
you to
lot of.
look down?
We
One
share a lot
second.
of.
Who are you to look down on Africa? Name an African country that ain't doing better than you.
I didn't say, I'm not looking down, you idiot. I
You
didn't say
are
nothing.
though.
Just
You
that
just
whether I
dismiss
should.
Africa like they can't benefit you, like they can't teach you nothing.
No, they definitely can. Only people that can benefit me is Ethiopia because they have a large population.
What do you mean
They have a large
only?
market.
Okay, wait. You said only. Name an African country that is not better than you. How are you gonna say only? Like you're
What do you mean? Like I'm just saying, only do trade. It doesn't matter, bro. Like it doesn't
No,
matter
it
about
does
that.
matter, bro.
We're talking
Listen,
about trade.
listen. Do you understand? Do you understand that every single African country is doing better than us? Do you comprehend that?
No, I don't think Burundi is, but okay, go ahead.
You don't think Burundi is?
No, Burundi is
Are you
definitely not that
serious?
Bruv, we got voted the most poorest African nation and the most corrupt African nation.
Oh, well, is he serious?
Where was this? Where was
I'll
this?
show you, bro. I'll bring it out for you. Somalia's got voted the most poorest African nation. I'll put it up on a video if
Is
you
he
want.
serious?
Hey, you get me?
Bro,
No, the thing is, a lot of these
Burundi's the
people are
one with
deluded, man.
peacekeepers in our country, not the other way around. You do realize that, right?
Thank you, my brother.
Like, how do you come to the conclusion that you're doing better than them? Like,
I didn't say that, bro. Stop lying, bro. I just said I wouldn't trade with them. I wouldn't trade with them, man. I'm not like you. I'm not a sellout, bro.
Wait, hold on. Where does the word sellout come into this? Sell out how?
You're trying to insult your people, bro. We have a different political
How am I
ideology that
insulting my people?
You just said what you said, bro. Well, you don't want me to
I
repeat
said
it,
a
bro.
fact that we are doing the worst in Africa. Is that fact or not?
I didn't say that, but man, there's no point arguing with you, bro. You're just retarded.
There is no
dog.
argument here. You don't have any really.
Yes, I do, bro.
The whole
You're trying
night
to argue
you have
with me.
not
You're telling me
managed to
I'm
make.
supposed to trade with Africa. I don't have
You
to
have
deal with
not
Africa.
managed to
Africa
make
is a
a
seller.
single
Africa sells its
coherent
own
argument.
people.
You
Africa
don't
sells its
have
own
to trade
people.
with Africa, but you're gonna
That's
become a
what I'm trying to
loser.
say.
Africa's
No,
the home of everything. You know
I
what I
lie.
mean? Look at Congo
Bruv,
today. If I
sis.
was
but
gonna
it's
have an
Congo
ally,
stuff.
it would have been
They don't
Congo.
own anything.
Why
They
do you
don't own
think everyone's
anything.
hand is on the continent? And why do you think the Chinaman's here
There's
eating?
something wrong with him, man.
No, but sis Punta, the worst thing is he doesn't realize majority of tech companies are now trying to relocate to Africa. There's millions
Simple
of
as
Chinese
that.
people, they're trying to
There's no
outsource work.
technology. There's no technology on Earth without the existence
Congo.
of coltan from Congo.
Bro,
So
Ghana,
really,
one second.
you can
Ghana produces
go back
cars.
to the dark ages
We all
with
know
that
that.
mentality.
One minute. Ghana produces cars. It produces chocolate.
Rwanda put a
You
satellite
know,
in the
dark
sky.
ages, man. Okay, you just
Like, are
Bantu
you mad,
sympathizers.
bro?
Me, I'm focused on my people. You can survive by taking care of your own people. Oh, it is. If you want to trade,
How
if
you
you
gonna
want to trade,
focus on
if you
people
want
if
to,
you don't want
see, that comes
if
later.
you don't want to
First, you
benefit
have to
from the
focus
world?
on food security and education. That's the number one priority that we have to do in our country: feed the people and educate the people.
Yeah, but we could do that
You
with
can
trading
benefit from the
with other
world. You're talking
Africans.
about no. Oh
Without
my
going through other
God,
Africans,
bro!
we can, bro. You could be strong. There's a market. Look, you're trying to isolate yourself away from markets, countries that are thriving,
I'm
doing
not
better than
isolating
us.
I'm not
It's a,
isolating myself from markets. I already said Israel, Qatar, Taiwan, Singapore. Those are the top economies in the world with little to no resources. So imagine
But
now
why
you have
would they
resources
want
and part of
you?
the economic model. And then you see that
But one
they
second,
would follow you, man.
you
You have
keep
to become a
hold
good
on.
business partner.
You keep
You
begging for
scratch my back, I scratch
you
your
said
back.
Israel.
You know foreign
Wait,
investment?
you said
You know foreign
Israel,
investment?
Singapore. Israel, why would Israel and Singapore deal with you? Like, who are you? Why have you
Because
got for them?
it's about the contract. It's about a contract and the foreign investment, the things that the business plans that you have that you can set up with them. Everyone knows there's always ample amount of opportunity with Somalia being a strategic location, having access to many ports. These things can help initialize global trade and help. Why do you think China's investing in Djibouti now too, using the ports to do? Come
Djibouti
on,
is a
man.
military base. Djibouti is a military base.
Yeah, but
You
told us
for sure, so they can protect their own
no,
interests. The Silk Road.
yeah,
That's
I know,
why
but that's
China's
what they
there.
do
So,
now. Yeah, but China's using exactly for the Silk Road. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. There's a lot of opportunity.
China,
what I
no,
mean?
it's not even that, man. What
Okay.
Djibouti is going to be in so much debt, crippling debt soon. Yeah, the
It
people were going to
already
stop
is.
them.
China owns Djibouti.
China
It
owns
already
Djibouti. I'll even
is.
show you a video about why Djibouti is owned by the biggest military base.
Djibouti might as well be called China.
Thank you.
Man said
That
we're
goes for a
gonna
lot of
trade
African
with.
countries
Man
too, though.
said
Not
we're gonna
only
trade.
Djibouti.
Wait,
Kenya
man
too.
said we're
Kenya
gonna trade.
by them.
One second,
Ghana
guys.
too.
When it comes to trading, when it comes to trading, obviously everyone's trying to gain their interest. You see what I'm saying to you?
Yeah, best
So
deal. Yeah, best deal.
imagine coming to the table as Somalia with Israel in Singapore, like his suggestion. Do you think you're gonna get anything favorable?
No.
I don't think you can. You have to know how to negotiate. You have to know how to negotiate. You got to know how to negotiate.
What have
It's
you got
simple
to
as that.
negotiate? Why have you got
Bro,
to
I'm not gonna
negotiate?
tell you. I know what I'm doing. I know exactly what I'm doing, bro. Did you just like to talk to talk?
You
What do you
worked it
get from
out.
Senegal? What are you gonna get from Senegal? What do you want?
You
Choose.
worked it
That's what
out.
you want, right? Then you go do that. You go shine your bald
Pure
head and go to
gold.
Senegal.
Pure gold, my brother.
Mutual interest. Do you understand what mutual interest is?
So what's the mutual interest?
Unbelievable.
What is it? What is it? Tell me. You keep talking
Have you
about
got
that.
really okay? Let me explain something to you.
Continent.
You've got no, but listen to this. You share a continent code. You've got the biggest seaport across Africa. There's African countries landlocked. You've got green fertile areas in what's it called Shabelle Hose. Bro, there's a market, untapped market that you can make.
And you have every reason. And you have every reason. No, watch this. And you have every reason to give each other favorable terms because nobody else will.
Thank you.
That's literally what it comes down to. Because
so how come
Africans
are not doing it now then? Why they taking it so
Listen to this. Listen. Let me explain something to you about done, innit?
Because it's so realistic. It's done yet. Nigeria and South Africa don't want to do it.
What's wrong with you, man? Like, can we?
What is
Can
wrong
we
with you?
converse?
Because you're being stupid.
Hey, you're talking over me. You're gonna get your chance to talk, bruv. Relax. It's about done. It's about the simple fact that since let's say, for example, a Senegalese guy and me, a Somali guy, yeah, the Senegalese guy goes and tries to trade with Europe. Europe does not give him favorable terms. He goes to Asia. They don't give him favorable terms. He goes to South America. They don't give him favorable terms. Same thing happens to me. We are a natural alliance. Because we don't get what's it called favorable terms elsewhere. That is what brings us together. It's a marriage of convenience. Has nothing to do with love. Can you comprehend that?
Today, as we see, really just got his ass handed to him left, right, center. Welcome,
No, I didn't, bro. You guys are unrealistic.
It's not even that. Welcome back to Somali speakers, man. You've been around some near guys, innit? Yeah, up to you.
Nah, because while I'm speaking up, I'm looking for the interest of the Somali state. If this was true, they were supposed to do what, the African Free Trade Agreement, yet they're still stagnant on that. And then even Nigeria and South Africa are smart enough not to join because they have the largest economy and they're gonna piggyback a bunch of poor countries. You know what I mean? For this to only work, it has to be regional trade. You know, it would be more realistic for Somalis to trade with Ethiopia, Eritrea, Djibouti, and maybe Sudan and South Sudan. That would be more realistic.
Let me do this, yeah? Let me do this because I gotta get to work tomorrow
That's
early
the
in
only
the
way it
morning.
could work. Because even with Kenya too, it doesn't even work that much.
Rids, let's continue this subject on Wednesday night, yeah? You guys, 7 o'clock. We're gonna call it does Somalia, can Africa benefit Somalia trade-wise, right? We're gonna continue this.
Yeah.
You get me? Because I gotta be up 7 in the morning. You guys stay here, carry on. We'll do an after show. You get me? We debrief. And you guys, assalamu alaikum. Please hit up the like button, hit up the subscribe button.
Are we saying it's over?
No, because I gotta get to work. No, we just chill in the backstage for a little bit because I gotta get to what's it called? Unless you're gonna bust a stream for the people. Maverick, unless you're gonna bust a stream, are you gonna make a stream? Because there's 27 people. If you're gonna carry on, do it on your channel. But Wednesday we'll carry on. Does Somalia, does Africa benefit Somalia? And on that note, hit up the like button, hit up the subscribe. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.